Okay. Oh my goodness. Hi there, how's it going, guys? Herbal giraffe was first. I was annoyed because I have like a huge document of a lot of studies on like trans people, but I have to re-find it again. It's gone. Ugh. I mean, your username is very obviously just Nazi material, so I'm not sure why you think I care about anything that you say. Yeah, that's kind of what I have to do. Like, I'll study a specific study and know exactly what I can make claims for, but I really like to just make cliff notes about each study. I just get so annoyed when people want to talk about studies on a live though, because I'm just like I have all the data. Can I just send you this Google Doc link and trust that you go through it yourself? Because typically when I share studies on a live and people want to go through it, they misread the study. They only read the abstract. They don't give it the proper time or attention that they need to before they can choose to critique that study. Like, that's something that you have to do offline. How is God man-made? Why don't you come up and talk? You have to be 18 plus years of age or older. No, no, they don't. And I've just seen a couple of my friends actually do like the good thing and bring up a study, and people when they're reading studies, like one time I brought up a study to a girl, and then she's like, well, this study has like studies on guinea pigs. We're talking about human neurology. It's like, well, the field of neurology, we can't just cut open people's heads and look at their brains. Like, it's going to be a compilation of evidence of post-mortem studies, animal studies. Like, when we're studying regions of the brain, we can't just take healthy people and go dissect their brains. That's not how they work. So people just are in such bad faith, they don't even care to like understand even the field that they're reading about. But I just thought it was funny, that girl getting angry and upset because they had a guinea pig brain study at a neurology study. Gender and sex, and it's just like, that's neurology, guys.
Hello?
You're too young. You
No,
know
I'm not.
Please don't be joining lives if you are under 18. Your safety is at risk. Like, holy shit, where are your parents? If you're saying let me up, you're probably a fucking kid. I don't want to talk to kids. I don't want to panel you at all. I don't want to give you even 5 seconds to like talk to me. I don't want to platform kids. They lie all the time just so they can get up for 5 seconds and to say racial slurs or tell me to eat meat. Men can't become women, guys. Females different than women. Girls become women. Trans girls exist and become women. Yeah, I just don't like feeding into the trollish children, like, and I know they hit a lot of vegan lives because of TVT, but whatever, there's nothing we can do about it. Hi, thank you for the heart me. We're brainwashing children. Brainwashing them about what? Because I'm not talking to children up here. 18 plus only, please. Hello? You can have plant-based hamburgers. You don't have to eat cows. Well, because you're down here begging in the comments to be let up. That's typically how children behave when they join a live space.
Can I rape you?
No.
No, come on, buddy. Come on. Come on.
Welcome to being a woman on the internet. It's so funny to joke about raping women. So funny. Why should you be a vegan? I mean, do you support animal abuse? If you're not into animal abuse, it's the best way to avoid unnecessary harm. Hi there. Welcome in. If it's unnecessary, yes, it's abuse. Hi, how's it going? Yes, I support women and pregnant people choosing to terminate pregnancies when they need to. At any time, all 10 months, 100% for it. Because restricting women's autonomy on medical choices unalives them. Yes, men can get pregnant. Trans men exist. But you guys just don't know the difference between gender and sex. Like, you referred to men as males, but human social categories are complex and they're not always aligned to our bodily functions. If you're reducing humans and their personhood to bodily functions, it's kind of weird because there's some women who don't even have uteruses and never had uteruses. They don't even have what's it called? They don't even have a cervix. They never have periods, but they've been cis women their entire lives. Yeah, it's rare, but it doesn't mean that they're not women because they don't have the typical body functions of women. That's why there's a huge difference between gender and sex. Woman is not a sex category. Female is a sex category. Tell you how you can get pregnant. If you're a cis man with no uterus, you can't get pregnant. But if you're a trans man that still has uterus intact, yes, you can get pregnant. I don't know why this is so complex, guys. It doesn't have to be. You don't think I have a soul? Not really. I've never seen evidence of souls.
Yo,
Hello.
yo,
Can I
yo,
get
what's up?
can I get your age and your pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 18 and here,
What year were you born?
2008.
What's a W-2 form?
Loki, don't know. I am 18 though, but you don't gotta let me up.
Okay. I know that I don't have to. I'm very cautious about 18-year-olds. Very few 18-year-olds actually make it to talk to me. Which I'm okay with. You can cook your brain a little bit more. Yeah, thank you for your permission. Trans man is just a female is presenting and pretending, but still, they're not pretending anything. They're telling you who they
Yo,
are.
hello.
How old are you and what's your pronouns, please?
I'm 18, he, him.
What year were you born?
2008.
What's a W-2 form?
No idea.
You had a chance to even look it up. Were you not paying attention? Oh my god. I have come across so many 18-year-olds who don't know what W-2 forms are. I guess they're just not working, or they're just lying about their age. I mean, I started working at 16. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of vegan chocolate. The UK admittedly has a lot more options than the United States, but you could still order it online. Hershey's is coming out with plant-based options, but they're obviously going to be a little bit more expensive than their standard. I recommend just getting like the allergen-friendly chocolate chips and just making some of your own at home. So you can melt down the chocolate with there's a special pan that you use to heat chocolate. It's a pan that holds boiling water, and the pan inside of that pan that you can melt the chocolate in. It's like a way to keep the heat a little less direct so it doesn't burn the chocolate, and you can make like cake pops or put them in like little shapes. So there's all kinds of creative ways you can get into chocolate work. Yeah, double boiler. Thank you, Erin. Look at you, you know your cooking ware.
Hello,
Hi there, how old are you, please?
I am 18,
Okay, what year were you born?
2008,
And what is a W-2 form?
where you report your income to do your taxes.
Great. Which topic would you like to discuss?
You should be vegan.
Okay, what is your understanding of veganism?
Honestly, I'm not vegan, so I'm not familiar with the topic of being vegan, but obviously, nothing with animals in it. They're very against animal cruelty, obviously. I mean, who isn't against animal cruelty, but things that are made with animals, some certain makeup products, beauty products, nothing obviously eaten. That's all.
Great. Well, it sounds like you have a pretty good understanding already because a lot of people think it's just a diet type.
Oh no.
So at its core, it's just a stance against exploitation. So we don't want to use human or non-human animals for labor, testing, entertainment, obviously product usage, if we don't have to.
Okay, but isn't there a certain like carbohydrates and certain proteins that you need in your body in order to have a successful life and a successful lifestyle from animals to go by your day by day life and to be have a healthy lifestyle?
It depends on who you are, but the majority of people don't have to consume animal products to be healthy or have like a balanced lifestyle. You can get everything you need from a plant-based diet.
Okay, so I'm going to play college football, and we already have our nutrients, and we're very well known. Like, we have a chart that comes out with what's the most protein intake, what's the best thing for you for your diet, and almost everything on that list is protein, like beef, salmon, chicken. Those are the top three ones. That's your main source of protein right there. I mean, you need proteins and things and vegetables, and man-made proteins aren't necessarily good for you. As in man-made proteins, I'm saying like protein powders and the vegan protein bars that you can, and like, they're not necessarily good for you. All the lab grown stuff that's not good for you, all the chemicals that are inside of the certain things that vegans eat aren't necessarily good for you.
So you think that all these farmed animals are free of horrible things for the human body? You
Most
think
of
they're
them.
perfect?
I mean, if they're USDA approved, they're pretty pristine. They're pretty.
Even though they have higher levels of saturated fat, cholesterol, IGF-1 factors that promotes inflammation and potential cancers. Like when we're looking at our protein quality, there's a lot of factors we have to consider, and being a higher in saturated fat is a marker of concern, especially for people long term. So some of the best quality proteins actually from fat or is from plants, because they don't have as much saturated fat, cholesterol, and all the other factors that go into producing animal protein, which is the environmental degradation, the incredibly high usage of antibiotics, and putting us at risk for like zoonotic diseases and outbreaks. So when it comes to plant-based protein, some of the best protein, the highest quality, you're going to be looking at soy, like soy curls, tempeh, tofu. They have all 9 essential amino acids, lower saturated fat intake, and a lot of vitamins that you need to support your body. So the best protein sources isn't always going to be animal products, but I do recommend that you talk to a nutritionist at like veganeasy.org, especially if you are a young athlete, to get a meal plan suited for you.
Okay, another thing that I could argue that is most vegan things or vegetarian things also, well, it's not, the topic isn't vegetarian, but vegan. Most vegan diets aren't like healthy for you or good for you as in sense of a lifestyle.
What do you mean by that?
So, okay, so someone actually commented something about vegetables. Like, vegetables are like your vegetable. You could say the same thing, that everything you just said about the USDA approved stuff, everything also with the vegetables. Like, your vegetables also come lab grown with a bunch of chemicals and a bunch of unnecessary chemicals. Also, put like apples. Do you know the wax they put on apples? This is just an example.
Stop. Apples already have natural waxes as well.
But
Like,
no, not the ones that are store bought.
So you've been reading into, it sounds like a little bit of propaganda about food, and a lot of young men do kind of fall into this. So I would just be like very critical who's telling you like nutrition information, and base what you know off of like peer-reviewed studies, not hearsay from other athletes or influencers online. Because there's a lot of fear-mongering around food right now, and you have to be careful. Because even if we do use pesticides, oh, he's gone. Because even if we do use pesticides, there's going to be like a limit where it starts affecting people. That's why they have regulations on pesticide usage, the traces that's in food, and things like that. So you got to back up what you're saying with evidence. You can't just go to freaking YouTubers or influencers and just run with it.
Yeah, that's sorry. I was hopping up here too, just because I heard anytime I hear somebody talk about protein, I'm like, let me get up here real fast. But yeah, I mean, you can absolutely, the facts are that you can get all the protein you need on a plant-based diet. So there's no reason to choose to harm animals when you don't have to. So that's it. We have the largest dietetic associations in the world establishing that a plant-based diet is perfectly healthy for all stages of life. So then it only comes down to, do you choose to harm animals or do you not choose to harm animals? So that's kind of what he needs, to know. And
I
yes,
appreciate that too, because I noticed like a lot of young men, especially, sometimes they won't listen to me. They need like another dude to tell that to them.
yeah, and I hate that. Yes, I hate that too. But yes, that's a reason why I try to be outspoken as a male vegan, because I'm like, and a male vegan who works out. Usually the past month I've been lazy, but I try to come and say, look, you can be a man, you can be masculine. Not that I'm like an uber masculine person or anything, but you can be a man, you can have muscles, and you can be confident in your identity as a man and still choose to not harm animals. And I agree. I think that unfortunately veganism is sometimes seen as like for femininity, or like for people that are like, overly compassionate. But yeah, I try to come in and just be an example of you don't have to be any specific way to be a vegan, and there's nothing wrong with being feminine, but you don't have to be a vegan. So.
Well, I think a lot of the fear of soy products is definitely like the fear of femininity, even though like there's no evidence showing that soy like feminizes anyone. Like we've had Asian cultures for thousands of years, some of the most fierce like men eating a lot of soy. But I think a lot of that is just kind of their misogyny coming out in weird ways.
Yes, well, I mean, and I think it's like an intentional. I mean, the meat, egg, and dairy industries are multi-billion-dollar industries, so they're going to use whatever angle they can to convince people to consume animal products, the product of suffering. So now they've taken the angle of, well, you know, we can't quite say that all meats are healthy now that it's been proven that some of them are carcinogenic. So how can we twist this? Well, okay, men eat meat, you know, and so they're running with that. You know, that's what I think.
Hi guys, can we get your age, please?
Oh,
Oh my goodness. But thank you for coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it because the live's kind of dying down, but it's okay. But thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your voice and your activism. Not consuming animal products is a middle class privilege that you have. You think I'm middle class? I've been in poverty my entire fucking life. But thanks. Like your cheapest foods are gonna be plant-based. In fact, like when we were our poorest when I was a kid, our staple was still like beans and rice. I'm on an Instagram live. Poor people go live too. You know that, right? Do they think that people who have phones are all like middle class and up? Like, I'm so confused, y'all. Get a job and get out? Well, come take care of my fucking kids. Daycare is expensive. Yo, what up? How old are you?
18, born in 2008. My pronouns are he, him, and I know what the W-2 is. It's a tax statement. Sorry, I was drinking something.
Close enough. Okay, which topic do you want to discuss?
Honestly, I was just gonna get on here and say to Chas. So really, it's not even lower class if you were to be vegan. It's the same as middle. I mean, not lower class, middle class. Sorry. To be vegan, it's basically same as middle class and higher class. Okay, you can still eat meat and be middle class. See, there's a lot of lower class people who are homeless that still eat meat from the grocery store. And honestly, grocery store meat is pretty bad.
Look at any impoverished country and their main source of food is probably going to be plants. Like there's been large studies about like food affordability. I think over 70 countries, the cheapest options were always plant-based because it takes a lot more land, water, and feed to grow all these animals instead of just growing the plants directly and eating them.
See, it doesn't really take land to grow animals.
It doesn't? Are you sure about that? Because we're clear cutting shit tons of forests for grazing and soy lands. 80% of our soy production goes to feed chickens and pigs. And then they take incredible amounts of fresh water. Like it takes as much water.
No, you said building.
Don't interrupt me, please. I'm trying to educate you. You don't give a fuck. Like that's what annoys me about talking about some young people. It takes as much water to float a battleship just to raise a single steer.
But when I said that, you said building, not land. See, you didn't say anything about forests. You said building, land buildings, okay? And
what?
with yeah, you heard me.
I didn't say anything about buildings. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you did. For animal cruelty, it's mainly for farm animals. Farm animals are on the countryside. Now, for like meat animals that are from grocery stores and stuff, now those are inside buildings that are like straight animal cruelty.
It depends. A lot of cattle, they start on smaller farms and they're shipped to feedlots, bison as well, and then they're fed a lot of grains and stuff to fatten up there before they go to slaughter. It depends on like the animal, but a lot of pigs and chickens do have to be grown inside because they're given antibiotics, have to be protected from predators. Like there's a lot of factors that go into it. But a lot of the deforestation is for grazing animals before they go to feedlots
and then also for crop production like soy to feed all those animals.
Cute and get whatever your name is, cute bunny. Actually, I'm honestly doing something right now, and I'm kind of slow on my air right now. So
Okay, well, I wanted you to pick like a topic to discuss, not just address freaking comments. This isn't your live. You could start your own live. Well, I don't post trans men or men because I'm not a man. I don't know how or what the experience of being a man is, but I am a woman, and I know the experience of being a woman, and I can talk about womanhood. That's why I picked the trans women are women topic. Yeah, the right is obsessed with trans women to the point of thinking trans men don't exist. That's why they always freak out when I say men can get pregnant. What you're born with, always be who you are. I don't know what do you mean who I am? Like, my sex organs aren't who I am, it's just part of my bodily functions. Because who I am is up here.
Okay. What's up?
Hi there, how old are you, please?
I'm 30. I got a few, because I don't know if you're trolling. Maybe you're not trolling. I'm not familiar. But can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so why do you feel like people should be vegan first?
Yeah, so it's going to be depending on how people already feel, like your personal moral framework. So, for example, do you support animal abuse being defined as unnecessary harm?
Nah.
Then you should be vegan, because the best way to limit as much unnecessary harm as possible is by choosing to consciously reduce exploitation of animals in your life. So that could be changing your makeup products, get only like cruelty-free brands, checking hygiene products, trying plant-based diets out more, avoiding like SeaWorld, zoos, circuses, anything that exploits animals for entertainment. So it's starting to think about them as like, moral patients who are deserving of respect.
Okay, so I understand I agree that we shouldn't do like the testing on animals when it comes to like makeup and stuff like that, right? But as far as food consumption goes, I'm going to eat them. Like I don't see the problem with that, because animals eat animals. Like an animal would eat you if they had the chance. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't understand what's the need, like the very need to not eat animals. Like I can understand the other stuff, like the abuse. Like you shouldn't just be abusing animals. You shouldn't just like doing tests on them. I agree. But if it's for consumption, I really don't understand the problem.
Yeah, so the problem is, we're breeding 92 billion of them per year into existence to consume, and then we're also dragging trillions of marine life out of the ocean every year. So the problem is we're not consuming for survival anymore, it's for pleasure, tradition, taste. So I wouldn't deem that as like necessary. Like I understand if someone, like there are still indigenous first people in the world, they still have to hunt for survival. I don't have as much an issue with that. I have an issue with kind of this hyper consumerism and breeding animals into existence to consume them as just for taste or tradition, if that makes sense.
Oh, so that's what it is. So yeah. You're not really like mad at people for eating animals. You just don't like the overconsumption of it. Like the
I don't like the unnecessary consumption,
Okay, I can respect that, because I think a lot of them do go to waste too, which is awful. Don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why somebody has to be vegan. Like I feel like that's it's the food chain. Like it's like I think that humans are meant to be either vegan. Well, not vegan. Excuse me. What's the term when you can eat both? What is it? Not a herbivore. That's plants. what's the term for both? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Omnivore? Yeah,
omnivore.
omnivore. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think humans are meant to be that way. It's just like there are other animals and species out there that they just like how do you feel for animals just to eat meat? Like how do you feel about those animals?
I don't really feel anything about it because they're moral patients. They're a little bit different than you and I. They don't have the capacity of high rationality. They don't understand bodily autonomy, consent, or rights. We are far more intelligent in that area. So it's just same as like, children. We're supposed to be like the guardians and make sure that they don't hurt other children or things like that. So when it comes to free animals, I think we should let them be. But for the animals that we domesticated, we should look into reducing their usage because it doesn't make sense to just breed them into pet shops or traditions or taste because it's unnecessary.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like I said, I could agree with that to a certain extent. But the fact that you're saying that we should be vegan, that's kind of like far fetched. But I agree to a certain extent that we shouldn't just over the overconsumption. And I agree. Like the greediness, I get it, because capitalism, they overdo things. I definitely agree, but that's with anything, right? I agree. But okay, so moving to the next point, right? You said God is man-made. I can agree with that. I can't even be mad with that. That's your opinion. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Trans women are women. Now, what I'm trying not to laugh. What killed me, what got me is that you said that I can't speak on men because I'm not a man, right? That doesn't, it kind of like, it's the same concept. How can a trans woman speak on, which is a male, right? That's a male. How can you say that you're a woman when you're a man? Like, I don't, like,
They're
how?
they're not men. So there's a difference between like sex and gender. This is where a lot of people get confused. So woman and man refer to gender identity, but your sex organs, they can either be male or female, and some people have traits of both. So like the sex is very different than gender identity because gender identity refers to like who we are, like up here, and sex is just referring to bodily functions around like your reproductive system.
I'm still confused on why you feel like you can't speak on a man because you're not a man.
I've never been a part of the manosphere. I've never experienced being one of the bros. I experienced misogyny regularly. So I can't speak on what it's like to be in a patriarchal society as a man because I've never been that.
You don't think that trans women benefit from the patriarchy? And let me just a bonus. You don't think that the way they act is misogynistic? Because they act on terms of what they see a woman is acting like. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like
that's all. Stop. All cis girls growing up have their own idea of what women are like. Like even cis people do. Like I growing up had ideals of what women were like. Every culture has their own ideals. Every unique woman, whether they're cis or trans, has their ideals. And so a lot of how they express themselves is going to be influenced by like media, peers, like women in their family, women in like their church community is all going to affect what they perceive women to be.
Okay.
So it's not the same for cis and trans girls, kind of influenced, I guess, from that perspective.
Now, from a woman that was a tomboy, I'm not like the traditional, I'm not even like trans woman. Like I'm not the overly girly, prissy. Like I'm not like that, but I understand that I'm a woman. Like the typical woman, like how, women typically like makeup and they like to, the dresses and they do certain things typically, right? I'm not that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still a woman. So I'm not understanding how you could say, and it's like, to me, why do they all have this type of woman? Like the overly feminized women. Why don't we have trans women that's like a little, little mannish, a little boyish? Cause I'm boyish. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little mannish. I'm masculine, but I'm aware that I still feel like a woman, and I feel like it's kind of offensive when people say that like they have this idea of women and then I don't fit that. You know what I'm saying? It's a little offensive because I just view myself as a woman because I'm an adult human female. But then you have those type of people like trans women. They'll say like, the reason I feel like a woman is because I wear dresses. I don't wear dresses. The reason I feel like a woman because I like long hair. I don't. I'm actually damn near bald. So it's just like when people say certain stuff like that, it gets a little offensive because I'm like, damn. And does that make me a trans man? Like I'm just trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn. What does that make me?
You're still a woman because that's your identity. And so, like I said, being a woman is going to be unique to every woman. Yes, there are some cultural typicalities. Like the typicality of being a woman in Japan, for instance, is going to be very different than a woman in the United States, obvious. But we don't use like typicalities to define people because those would be like stereotyping. Typicality just means you're observing social patterns and like these complex gender categories. Like humans do have complex gender categories. So whether you're a trans woman or a tomboy, you're still a woman because that's your base identity. You understand, like you see yourself as a woman and you know that you feel as a woman. You're not doing these things to become a woman. You're doing these things because you're expressing yourself as a woman. Because even if you're a tomboy, you might like some feminine things like, you know, a bubble bath or like self-care. Right. Like, those are considered more feminine. But I mean, everyone has femme-masc traits.
Right. And I agree with that. That's why I typically don't agree with the whole trans woman thing being a woman because just because you act or you present yourself in a way doesn't mean that you're a woman. Now you might be feminine presenting. Like I could say like, okay, you look feminine. There are some trans women that you can't tell. You really can't. But most of them I would say otherwise. But that's none of my business. I don't have a problem with trans women expressing how they want to express. If they want to cut their stuff off, I don't care. If they want to get the breast, I don't care about that. The problem lies when we lie and say that they're a woman. Like what's a woman to you? What's a woman to you? You know what I'm saying? Like what is that to you?
It's simply just a gender identity that aligns to female typicality. So it's a cluster concept. Woman is an archetype in society. So they're not lying to you about who they are. Like, and this is why I really lean into this because this is important even for cis women. This has been part of our feminist push for a long time, not just to be reduced down to our sexual reproductive organs. And that's what men have been doing to women for a long time. So no one can define who you are. You understand who you are. It's not up to society to define that for you. So I don't see an issue at all with trans people existing and being who they are. And this includes non-binary people as well, because they're simply telling people who they are. It doesn't affect anyone. They're like, I mean, it's not really anyone's business what their sexual anatomy is unless you're their doctor or like, you know, their partner. But like, it's just an identity, and that's it. It's not a big deal. So that's why I encourage people not to call them mentally ill. There's nothing wrong with them. Protect their rights to medical access, and don't feed into like the political fear mongering that this administration is doing about them, because it's not right.
So let me ask you a question. Do you feel like, because I just want to see where you are around the whole base of things. Do you feel like that man and woman, is it important to distinguish a man and a woman, just period? Is it important in life?
Distinguish in what way? Because I mean,
no,
I've kind of been leaning to like, I don't really like a lot of the gender roles in society, but they exist. You know,
I'm not talking about gender role. This is why it's so confusing with like, I don't know if you're a liberal or not, and I'm not trying to assume nothing. This is why it's like a fight, because we have different ideologies, right? Y'all are talking about like the expression of humans. I don't care. Like most of us don't care how you express yourself. There are feminine gay men. No one cares. That's cool. Like it's not a problem with that. It's the overlapping of like what like to me, I feel like the word woman is a serious thing. I feel like the word man is a serious thing. I feel like that it distinguishes one gender from another, right? And then when we blur the lines and say like it's like nothing. Like, hey, anybody can say whoever it doesn't mean anything. Then we have to get rid of the statistics of men doing this, men doing that, the judgment of men and women doing certain things in life. Because I feel like we judge men harshly, right? I really believe that. Okay, since there's no way to establish or no, like, if gender doesn't mean anything to you, right? It's just something I just claim this. I feel like we should get rid of the generalizations of women and men. You know what I'm saying? You can't just hold it for one thing and then it causes another problem. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like anybody that is male are typically more predatory. That's just to me. You know what I'm saying? And typically males are men. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you would have to bring up statistics for that, because I will say that trans girls and women, like, and the reason why men are so violent currently in our society, it's not because they have penises. It's because that's how they're conditioned mentally. We live in a patriarchy. It's been normalized to, like, I just had a dude up here, a little big girl, made a joke about raping me. Like, this is like, the manosphere is a real thing, and boys are taught from a very young age to start normalizing violence against women. And it's not because they have a penis, it's because that's the culture that's being pushed on them.
So you believe that it's, and I know you're being disingenuous on this though, because if you look at it and, like, if you read on certain scientific evidence, right, you would know that men and women, they're different. If you're different internally, like, typically men got a bunch of testosterone and the women have estrogen, right? It's something, I still feel like there's something else that's dividing I don't even think it's just conditioning. I really feel like males are typically more aggressive and more violent because of how they're made. It's not just, it could be conditioning too. I agree with that too, because it could be conditioning. But I also believe that it's something inside of them that makes them different from us. And and we know it's true because we try to differentiate it. Y'all try to differentiate it. Y'all try to say, well, I'm not a man, I'm a woman, and I'm a woman, I'm the man. Y'all try to differentiate it. So if it was no difference in between us two, why would you sit and say that I'm the other gender? That doesn't make sense. Or is it just like a cosmetic thing to you? Or what?
I mean,
like,
I'm not saying that there's no differences. There's a lot of differences. But I'm saying that there are also, like, people who are intersex who, or even some women have higher testosterone, but we're not seeing them become mass rapists or unalivers like a lot of men are, mass family unalivers. So I think a lot of what we're seeing, like, especially the patriarchy, it's definitely conditional because of, I mean, it's a very deep system. It's one of the oldest, like, systems of oppression that we know of. Like, I think sexism even existed before racism, which is kind of crazy to think about. But this is, like, conditioning that's been happening for so freaking long, and women are starting to, like, I do feel like this is the first time, and this is kind of crazy to think about, this is the first time in, like, history women have had so much power, and we're starting to see some of the ramifications because of that, because a lot of men are freaking out because they don't have as much power anymore. But definitely a lot of the violence is coming from the patriarchy. It's not just because that they have, like, a penis.
And I agree with you to a certain extent, because women got a lot of talk, but it ain't nothing really happening in the real world, really. But anyways, when you say stuff like that, it's like the men are still winning because they believe that they can come into your space and say that they're women, right? Do you not understand that that's patriarchal view? That's literally like, what's the word for it? I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna leave you to think on this. I know it's not gonna change nothing for you, right? The way that trans men, you don't hear nothing from trans men because, first of all, you're a woman, or like you're female, right? No one's taking you seriously. Like, we just going, like, even if trans men was to fight for their spot or like try to make it be known, nobody would take you seriously. Like we just gonna be honest, right? That's why they just stay in their place and they just, live how they live, because they're female, right? Let's just be honest.
And that's because that's because the patriarchy.
Cool.
Because the man is
all right. So you agree that it's the patriarchy, right? the way that trans women are very out in the air, like it's like they're pushing stuff. Trans women who are male. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is patriarchy.
What are they?
The
No,
reason
what are
why
they
hold on,
pushing?
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Hold
The
on, what are they pushing? You have to be very specific.
the reason why patriarchy exists is because of males, right? You understand that
because of
trans
men,
women. Hold
not
on, hold
within
on.
the
Can I
male.
finish? Can I finish? Please, let me finish, because I'm gonna forget. The reason why trans women are so loud and rambunctious is because they're men and they're so out in the open because they benefit from the patriarchy. The reason why trans men cannot come to the forefront is because of patriarchy. The reason why trans women is taking over things and is all in people's face and forcing things upon other people is because of patriarchy also. So I'm gonna just leave you with that to think, and I want you to have a good day.
Oh wait, I didn't get to talk to you. Also, I would like to say trans men do not stay in their place, quote unquote. They don't do that. Whatever that means.
Yeah, she just dropped a whole bunch of stuff and then ran. It's like, well, we need to respond to this. Do you want to respond to it since we have people watching anyway?
Yeah, I'm not really sure where to go with that, because I was gonna go like and ask her questions about like why she thinks trans women benefit from the patriarchy, why she thinks it's connected to their biology. I was gonna ask some questions before I could really thoroughly respond.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess my biggest takeaway is there's just like a lot of assumptions, but the hyperfixation on trans women isn't because they're males, it's because trans women threatens the patriarchy's ideas of what women are.
That too, yeah. It's like they're actually kind of putting that onto the trans women by like focusing so much on them, and thus also going straight to the trans women and like provoking them as well. And so then they're surprised when they respond in a certain way. And yeah, like I said, trans men like do the exact same thing. Like, it's just simply a perception thing. It is true that trans men do not get taken very seriously in that way, but that was about the only true thing she said.
Hello, guest. Can we get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah. 19, he, him, his.
Okay, great. Which topic did you want to discuss?
You should be vegan.
Okay, great. What's your understanding of veganism?
You don't eat animals or any animal product.
So that's the dietary side of it. That's a plant-based diet. So veganism at its core is against exploitation of human and non-human animals. So we don't want to use anyone for entertainment, testing, products, or labor if we don't have to.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, you probably know more about that than me, but I don't think most people should be vegan, especially if you're like a teenager, because there's just like countless studies I can give them to you that it's not beneficial at all developmentally. But let's look at just for an adult. Why should a grown adult, right, male or female, why should they be vegan?
It depends on their framework that they already have. For example, do you support animal abuse? Abuse is defined as unnecessary harm.
Well, no, and also, yeah, it's unnecessary. It's just inefficient. So no, I don't support that.
Okay, well, you should be vegan because that's the best way you can avoid exploitation and harm if you don't have to.
Well, I eat my own meat. Like, I know where my meat comes from, but I am sure most other people aren't in that position. But like,
you eat your own meat.
It's not like from a farm.
I'm just poking fun at you a little bit.
You're good, yeah. Are there any dietary benefits to being vegan? Like,
yeah, it can reduce your overall total risk of like chronic health issues long term. You're less likely to get a lot of possible foodborne illnesses because the farms that we have it's incredibly gross conditions. There's fecal matter in a lot of the products, so Environmentally, it's a lot better. Like there's a lot of benefits, but the main concern is they're sentient individuals with capacity of immense suffering.
I
That's
mean,
respected.
there's an argument to be made that single cell organisms to a degree are sentient. I feel like that's kind of
They don't have a brain
point.
and central nervous system. They don't have emotions. They can't have like close family bonds. They don't scream for
Sure.
food after their infant is taken away. So yeah, it's very, very different.
Well, they're not human though, so I mean, I'm kind
So
of.
what? We have all
Well,
the
they're not
same.
human. I don't.
We have the same pain receptors. We have very similar emotions. We have very like they can experience empathy and love. They have all the same things that we do that makes us morally matter.
Well, I mean, to that, I say morality in this case, for one, it's subjective, and then two, it kind of doesn't matter in this case because humans.
We don't have to talk about meta ethics. We're just talking the ought claim and this framework.
The what claim?
Ought we avoid abuse if we don't have to? That's it. It doesn't matter if morality is objective or subjective. That goes into more meta ethics. We're just talking about the moral framework of harm reduction right now.
Reduce it. Well, I mean, to what extent are the animals being abused? I don't. At least in America, in America, they're very strict. Like they're relatively strict on this sort of stuff.
I'm not sure where.
I mean, it's not high quality meat. It's not high quality meat.
I don't give a fuck if it's high quality or not. That's irrelevant. They don't give a fuck about if the meat's good quality. The individuals care about their lives. They don't care about how good their body is to you, how delicious. They don't give a fuck about it. They want to keep their lives. They want to stay with their families. They want to like.
Oh, word.
I don't know. So that's like my concern. And when it comes to like American farming, I've been in every level of agriculture you possibly have, and the abuse is inherent in these systems.
Well, humans evolved to be omnivoric.
That's irrelevant. Just because we can doesn't mean we ought to.
No, it's not we can. It means we should. We evolved to eat them.
So what's your evidence supporting that we have to eat dead?
Well, you do understand also, if humans weren't such a dominant, force on this earth,
I don't care about
they'd be hunting
dominance.
us.
I don't care about dominance. Might does not equal right. So let's go back to we should eat dead
Might
animals.
does equal right.
What is
biologically?
If might
might
equals
is
right, that means men can fucking rape women whenever they want. Please don't use that argument. You're gonna actually piss me off.
Well, they can, they shouldn't, but they're capable of
But
it.
so then you're contradicting yourself. Might doesn't equal rights. You just contradicted your own
Why
fucking
not?
logic. You understand how
Well, we
horrible
have
that argument is.
well, we have subjective morality, like I
It doesn't
said.
matter. I said stop.
How
We're
does it not
talking about meta
matter?
ethics. We're talking about harm reduction frameworks right now. We don't have to talk about
Well,
meta ethics.
then
let's
you
go
can't.
back. You said we
Harm
should.
reduction is part
Stop.
of that.
Stop. You said we should eat animals. What is your evidence that we should?
Well, I mean, we evolved for it. If you don't,
I don't
there
care.
are
Men evolved
doctors
raping women.
often
That doesn't mean they
prescribe.
should rape women. I don't give a fuck about what that says. What is the argument? The should eat dead animals. Do you have evidence to show
Oh,
that?
should?
Because you said we should eat animals.
Well, there's dietary benefits. That's the main argument, really. There are, undeniably.
Okay,
There are.
so what's the
benefits
evidence
being
for
made.
that?
I mean, I can give you a study. I have these. I think I have them bookmarked to go look. You
Is
ever
there any
like
limit to that,
just like fuck
Internet?
up your laptop? You ever do that? I fucked my laptop up.
Is there any limit to your idea of it provides nutritional benefit, therefore it's good, or is that a
What?
complete and
Repeat
total?
that. I
Is
wasn't
there
listening.
any
Can you repeat
is there any
that?
limit to that? Is there an extreme end of that?
Well, like I said, I mean, the host keeps saying metaphysical. Okay, sure. There isn't a limit then, because
There isn't?
morality is subjective. Morality doesn't exist.
Well, okay, those are two different statements. It being subjective and it not existing are completely different.
If it's subjective, it doesn't exist intrinsically.
Oh my
It's
god,
not a biological thing.
the collapse of the idea of what subjective is such a deeply painful experience. No, just because something is subjective doesn't mean it has no meaning. All of linguistics is subjective. Every single meaning of every single word is subjective. Does that mean that words are meaningless, Internet?
I was typing something. Can you repeat that?
Is every single word of every single language meaningless, Internet?
No.
No, but they're subjective, right?
It depends on the word. I mean, the word tree
All
describes a
words are
tree.
subjective. Oh my god, tree? Are you gonna say
I'm
tree
just
is
bringing up a
subjective right
word.
now?
Is a tree not objectively a tree?
It's not. If you look it up, there's actually no clean definition of what is a tree or not a tree.
Is
Like
a tree
bushes,
is
like
a
the
tree
line
an
between bush and
objective?
tree is extremely
element?
complicated.
Well, objective just describes. I think. I don't know. Actually, that's okay.
Oh
Dumb
my
as hell.
god! Yeah, stop
Is a
using the
tree an
words
object?
objective and subjective. You don't know what they mean. My question was, of course, you could love moving the
Oh
goalposts. It's
wow, dude! This website called tree.com. I'm gonna trust them about trees. A tree is considered an
Dude,
objective, concrete entity.
can
So
you
trees
like
are
stop being
objective. Case
the attention
closed.
span of a
We're
goldfish
talking
right
about
now?
the words, dude.
I had a question, and you have like
What?
gone so far away from it. Okay, my question being,
What?
is there a limit to how far like it's okay to cause suffering in order to create nutritional benefit, or is there like
Not
is there a limit to
particularly.
you or
No.
no? What's that?
Not particularly. No.
So what about like other people?
Oh well, see, that's my tribe. Those are my people. You know, we're all humans, so we
Well,
should
there's a
all be in
limit
each
then.
other's. We should all be in each other's interests. So that's where I would draw the line.
Okay, so there's a limit then.
Yeah, to humans. The other animals, I kind of don't care. Like it's bad, but it's not something I care about that much.
What's the difference?
They're not human. They're not my tribe. They're not my species.
What makes us so special?
We run the Earth. We run this planet.
We're
We
doing
went
a
to the
really
moon.
shitty job for one, running the planet. We do a
You think
really
the
shitty
animals would
job.
do a better job? These like
By what
stupid.
They
measure
don't
are we
have
running the
to. Their
planet?
systems don't have to be fucking assholes and dogs.
What about like ants?
Yeah, they are, dude. It's because they evolved that way. You like, I'll think a bear is horrifying. Maybe more so. Actually, not humans are the most terrifying, but that just means we're the best.
Sorry, Lydia, I cut you off at one point because you cut out. I didn't realize I was. What about like ants? Internet, like they
I don't care about ants. I mean, we.
they
Oh wait,
they
wait.
have wait
Yeah.
no wait because the cases they have colonies. They have numbers that far exceed ours. They've basically like inhabit like all the areas of the earth that we do, but there's far more of them. Are they really the earth?
They're not as advanced as us. For one, they're smaller than us,
Okay,
and so because of
that's
that,
wait.
they're not
They
capable
can
of the things
lift
we're capable of.
for their size. They can lift and do like way more compared to their size.
Yeah, but they're
compared
still
to us.
small.
Okay, why does small matter?
Because if you're smaller, it's so basic. If you're smaller, you can't affect things as much. Like if ants were the size of humans, they would actually run everything.
Wait, so the size of a human determines its worth as well then?
No, it determines. Well, the size of humans is a factor into why we're so dominant.
So if humans were 1 foot tall, we would be like less.
Yeah,
Right?
we would, because
But
we'd
then
have
we would.
smaller
But
brains,
then
smaller
the
body
funny thing
parts.
here.
We might have evolved differently because our
Okay.
evolution would have been different.
Right.
And
are you
humans did used to be short. We did
Are
used
you
to be
one of
short,
those
actually.
guys that thought women weren't capable of intelligence or logic because their brains are slightly smaller? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is so
Dude,
wild.
you think brain size doesn't have... Women are, on average, I think, smarter than men. It's just that men dominate the extremes. But
But again, my point was our brains are like
What?
slightly more dense and a little bit smaller. Because you said something about them having
because they're
smaller
more
brains.
dense. I mean, they're wired for different things, but they're just as smart.
Anyway,
And
what's your freaking study? Because you have a lot of nonsense as most 19
Oh,
year olds.
yeah.
What's your studies?
Whoa, wait. You're calling me young. You're like 20-something. You're young, too.
I'll take that as a compliment.
there was
Wait,
something I
how
wanted
old
to
are
like
you?
post to you.
Wait, how old are you, actually? Are you
That's none
30?
of your business. That's private information, dude. Like, can you give me
20th
the
century? Were you born in the
Wait,
20th century?
I just want to try to
Oh,
apply
yeah,
some
I'll pull it
subjective
up right here.
perspective to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were all 1 foot tall, imagine
Yeah.
that world. We're all 1 foot tall, so everything we do is built for that size. Everything
Yeah.
is at the scale of 1 foot tall humans because that's how tall we are. Would we perceive that as being small?
Like from
Like,
the
would we think of
alternate
ourselves
perspective.
as small things? Do you think?
Maybe? I'm not sure about that. I don't have a
I
definitive
think that
answer.
we would probably not because we would center ourselves yet again in that conception of things, and anything
Yeah.
bigger would be big, anything smaller would be small.
Well,
But then the
that's
1
kind
foot
of a
tall
bad
humans would be
hypothetical.
not big nor
That's kind of a
small.
bad hypothetical because
No,
like
it's not
a 1
hypothetical.
foot.
Okay,
Well, let me
wait, okay.
explain.
What
A
I mean,
1 foot ant is humongous. A 1 foot like asteroid is pretty small. It's I don't even think it's considered an
right,
asteroid. So things are relative. But then also,
exactly.
it's kind of a bad hypothetical because the chances of us all humans
This
randomly
is,
just becoming 1
I'm
foot
trying.
probably never gonna happen. But if we
Right,
evolve to be 1 feet tall,
you're not
we
getting
would
it.
just be different.
The point I was making was that like you perceiving other things as being smaller and us being bigger is like so meaningless because like we just think of ourselves as the right size because like or you do because you're like self-centered.
Then why are we okay? So if
I
brain, if
understand
size,
myself between somewhere in the middle of the scale between the atoms and the universe. So we're somewhere in the middle. It's very healthy middle and all that. But like other than that, like there's nothing objective to like being small or big at all.
so if size
the
doesn't
ant being
matter,
smaller.
why did we go to the moon and ants didn't?
So,
I'm just saying.
so does that like?
It's just an
Does that, like,
achievement.
wait, most people don't go to the moon. So
Okay,
that
but like
means
as a
anybody who didn't go to
species,
the
as a
moon is
species,
now
we get to claim that.
disposable. Wait, why?
Why? Because we're that species.
Why does that matter? How are we all
My
connected?
species went to the moon
What do you mean?
because
We don't
they're
like. I'm
human
not
and
the
I'm
people who
human.
went to the moon. I'm not on the Artemis mission.
Okay, but you share like 99.9% of your DNA with them.
Most things share most of the DNA. Like
No,
bananas, I think have like 90+% the same DNA or something like that.
I call bullshit. Banana DNA human. It's like 50% or 45%. Banana DNA human. Yeah, 50%. I don't know about you. 50% is less than damn near 100. So, you know.
Okay, so like that's still a huge amount. You gotta admit. Okay, so
But it's like, but like it's less though. Like 50 is smaller than 99.
Okay, so anything over 90% is super similar, right? I'm pretty sure there are
No, not really,
aren't there
because
different species? Hold on.
chimpanzees share like 98% of our DNA, and
I'm
they're very
pretty
different.
sure. I'm pretty sure there are fellow humans that have more difference in DNA than, different species.
That's
Totally. I think that's
Well,
possible.
there were actually multiple
totally wrong.
humanoids, and
Oh,
Homo
well, they're
sapiens actually mated with
Yeah.
some, and we still have their DNA. Some of us.
Yeah, they're like subspecies, I guess. But no, we're more closely related to Neanderthals than we are to like chimps or something. So still isn't a good point.
So like,
yeah, Aaron.
DNA similarity is now, but we've gone through DNA similarity, size, nutrition. What's your actual like
Argument for
none of
why
these are really
vegan?
pulled it
Well,
up
for
you.
one,
These
okay.
are all totally pointless.
Well, dude, you literally brought these arguments up. What are you talking about?
No, you brought them up. These are your points I'm reciting.
Well, yeah, they're my points, but you're the one that like brought up shit like why does your ability to dominate matter and to what extent my morality, where I would draw the line. I said I'll
pretty
draw
sure
the
that
line
was
on
Lydia.
if they're human. But back to why we should eat animals. You do understand animals eat other animals. It's just like how shit evolved. It's a tough world out there. It's a tough world out there.
I was trying to ask what dominance even was. Like, what measure are you even using? Because, like, I don't know.
What measure for what? Morality?
What dominance is and why it matters.
Why dominance matters?
Yeah.
So if you're not dominant, as a species, typically you go extinct.
No.
Yes, typically.
The best thing to do is to coexist with your environment. That's why ecosystems tend to have things that work into each other in a cyclical fashion. It's not
cyclical as in like wolves eat and other wolves eat like deer, as in kill them, as in what we do, so that they don't overpopulate. But the issue is that humans are an invasive species.
Stop. That's not what humans do. Stop. Humans factory farm.
True, yeah.
Stop. 92 billion animals into existence every year just to put them in slaughterhouses because they taste nice. We're not like wolves.
That's a very recent development, though. That's a very recent development.
But that's what humans
like in the
are
history
doing.
of humans, that's a very recent development.
Stop. You said we are like wolves. We act nothing like wolves. In fact, humans are a really, really poor substitute for most apex predators because of how stupid we are when it comes to our senses. Like, we are a wild card when it comes to hunting other species because we do it for funsies largely. Like, we're not a very good substitute as an apex predator.
Are you talking about like how good we are at hunting? Because we're very good at it. Most modern humans aren't.
We're so good, we end up causing mass extinctions. That's our.
We're
that's
so
our
good.
problem.
We're so good.
So
Other
the
species
reason
don't
why
even
wolves are shush. Like, I'm trying to help you out. The reason why a lot of wolves and some apex predators are so good because they are very specific, typically about who they're targeting. If the herd is healthy, they're going to be able to target by smell and observations that humans can't pick up which ones are sick, which ones need to be like pruned out of the herd. Humans don't do that. They go for the biggest, the ones with the largest antlers, the healthiest, and we fuck up gene pools because of that. We've seen elephants, bighorn sheep, and other animals actually reduce their size and their tusks, antlers, and horns because of how we're hunting them. That's why I say humans are really horrible apex predators because we don't do it right.
Well, there's no right way. There's no right way to.
There absolutely is a right way. Going for the biggest, strongest, healthiest of the herd is a horrible way when it comes to ecosystem management.
And can I?
Okay, yeah, just one thing. No, that's total bullshit. I need to circle back. The reason we do that. Well, hold on. The reason we do that, one, we are an invasive species.
I just want to go back and point out that you pretty much conceded, like, the whole thing of, like, you thought, like, strength and, like, domination was what guaranteed your survival, but in fact, it's being in balance with the ecosystem.
How did I concede that?
You just moved right along, that's how.
Well, no, I didn't concede anything. It's just that
basically just, you're like, okay, but then what about this other thing?
total bullshit. Okay, I'll state this cleanly. Dominance matters.
But it doesn't.
Yes, it does. You're only here because your ancestors were dominant hunters.
No.
Or they were rapists.
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay.
Are you saying, whoa, dude, please use grape. Don't say the hard R too much. Like,
okay, don't say
irrelevant
the hard R
grape
means
happened
something very different.
Because we had to grape in the past for survival, which I don't think was necessary at all.
For genes, like ugly dudes, in the past they usually had to grape because no woman wanted to, fuck them.
That's not true. Anyway, because women, it's not about appearance. For men like appearance shit. For women, it's not about that. It's a whole thing I could get into. It's a whole thing. Stop. It's a whole thing I could get into. But my point is, you said we should eat animals, but you haven't given a really good argument for that.
Oh, why we should?
You just keep appealing. You keep appealing to history. You keep appealing to nature, and all that's fallacious.
Yep.
How is it fallacious to say that because animals would eat humans if they could? Why should we not eat them? It is just how nature works. It's a die or die.
Shall I explain the natural, the appeal to nature fallacy?
I don't think that's an actual fallacy.
It's a very easy thing to demonstrate. Do you think that natural disasters are good?
Do I think that natural disasters are good?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do serve a purpose, actually.
Are they, like, good, though?
You could say that.
So you would also have to say that your favorite thing to bring up, essay, you would say that's good, too. You keep saying it's natural.
Saying it's my favorite thing. Okay, no, essay is bad. No, it's bad.
Okay, so you just, less than a minute ago tried to, use that as,
well, no, technically nothing is bad
naturalistic
because morality is subjective, so nothing is bad, nothing is good.
Okay. But you say that essay shouldn't happen. You just said it's bad. You literally just said that.
That's good. Well, okay, yeah, no, I did say that because if I said it wasn't bad, I'd probably get, booted off the panel. But no, I'll tell you what my actual position is. We shouldn't do bad things to other members of our species because we all share common interest in being human. But nothing is inherently good and nothing is inherently bad. So that's my position. But we still shouldn't do it because it's our species.
Dude, you know that you can observe harm and consequences of harm, right?
And then why would you also be saying that we should be eating animals if you think nothing's good or bad? You're
we should be eating animals. Oh, are you guys atheists? Just to clarify, agnostic.
What does that have to do with anything? Gods don't have anything to do with this conversation.
Well, no, here's the thing. You keep saying I bring up meta ethics. Your whole argument is based off of ethics.
Yes, I know that. We're talking about the moral framework of harm reduction, which is being vegan. You should be vegan because you don't support animal
Why
abuse.
does harm reduction even matter?
Because causing suffering unnecessarily impacts the individuals whose rights and interests are being violated. Humans matter.
Why does that matter?
I'm trying to tell you, humans matter not because they're human, but because they can suffer. And that's the same with other animals. That's what
Living
we
is
base
suffering.
most of our ethics off of.
Living is suffering. No, we base our ethics just over time. We created belief systems to justify things that are beneficial to those subjects. What?
It's all based on the harm and consequences of harm. That's why we have ethics. That's why we made rights to limit power and cause unnecessary harm to others.
No, religion came with civilization because they wanted to create shared belief systems to unify a society. That's why that exists.
Religion's a whole nother topic.
Before,
I'm just talking about ethics, the basic
you
of
don't get
ethics.
to do that. No, you don't. You totally don't. You can't cite ethics as an argument and then say no, that's something different. You're doing the same
No,
thing.
religion has nothing to do with ethics. Religious people
Never.
sacrifice people. It has nothing to fucking do with religions. We're just talking
And
about
humans
ethics.
sacrifice
Stop.
other humans.
Stop. We're just talking about ethics, which is
Calm
the
down.
observation of harm and the choice to limit power to cause unnecessary harm to others. That's the basics of ethics. We don't need religions or deities or anything else involved in this. We can observe harm and observe the consequences of harm and avoid doing that unnecessarily. That's all it takes to like think about ethics.
Like, why does that matter? Why does harm reduction matter? You just said that it causes bad things. Okay, why does that matter?
Would you like someone to shank you in the leg?
No, because
Is that desirable?
No, because it's me. If it was somebody else, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, but why is it not desirable for someone to stab you in the leg?
Because it's bad and it would kill me. But if it's somebody else, it's not me.
But no, tell me why is bad. Tell me, like,
Because it would fucking kill me.
To kill you. It won't even kill you. Why would you not want that to happen to you?
Because it would feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's me.
So we don't want
if somebody stabbed somebody else, I really wouldn't care. Just intrinsically.
Well, that's
just intrinsically, I
maybe
kind of
might need to go talk to a counselor about that because that's kind of a marker you might have some issues.
Yeah.
So
I have stage 2 autism or level. I don't know what it's called.
That's not what I'm talking about. Stop.
Autism. Hold on.
It'd be something else on top of that, bro.
Maybe. I wouldn't be shocked.
Not maybe,
Alright,
like
continue.
definitely. Having a low, you're laughing. Having a low sense of empathy would not put you in like the category where you're laughing at people's pain.
I'm Aeon Koji.
That's like something extra. Like you're actually like a sadist or something. I think that's something to be really aware of.
I'd be nonchalant like Aeon Koji. Alright, continue.
If we can't agree that minimizing a harm is a bad thing, then I really don't know how to have a conversation.
Orange man bad. Okay, yeah, minimize because it's not happening to me. If it's happening to somebody else, I really don't care. Also, dude, animals don't have belief systems. Want to know why? Because animals are cooler than us.
Dude,
Actually, animals do have like religious.
No, they don't.
Tendencies.
Dude,
it's irrelevant.
animals-
Wait, stop. So since human toddlers don't have belief systems, we can abuse them if we want.
Excuse me?
Since human toddlers don't have belief systems, we can abuse them if we want.
Like from a moral standpoint? Well, no, morality doesn't exist, so the answer is neither no nor yes, because morality doesn't exist.
But pain exists, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, if that's your argument, then are you then not also
should we
pro-life?
cause toddlers unnecessary pain just because we can?
Oh, well, no, that doesn't typically happen, but
It does
happen.
It does happen. Like, have you been reading what's been happening? Like all the predators in our fucking country? It's been happening. Toddlers and kids are harmed all the fucking time.
Yo, wait, animals would kill more toddlers than humans kill toddlers,
No.
so we should kill them
No,
before
they
they
don't.
kill
No.
our toddlers.
So you can't be serious. I can't continue this conversation. You've lost it a long fucking time ago. Holy shit.
Or lost it in within like the first 5 minutes.
Thank fuck. Oh my goodness, and then more of them request. Oh my god.
What a relief for that one to be over.
Hi Envy, welcome to the shit show.
Yeah, what the fuck did I just walk into?
Yo, what's all on, man?
I literally just woke up from a nap. Oh,
hey,
shit,
man, shut
I'm
the fuck up and let me speak, bitch ass nigga. Hey,
You're
you's
not gonna
a
laugh
bitch.
up
You
here
eat
with
dick,
that
don't
nonsense. Oh my god.
I just realized I'm on the wrong account. Can I go to my other account and then you let me write up?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll be right back. I just woke up from a nap, sorry.
Hello?
Hello. Can we get your Norwegian pronouns, please?
I am he, him, 22.
Okay, great. Which topic would you like to discuss?
They're vegan. All right. My question to you. You said that we should be vegan. That means that you think the killing of animals is wrong. Now, why is the killing of animals wrong?
Do you know what veganism is?
The not eating animals?
No, that's just the plant-based diet side. So veganism is a stance against exploitation of human and non-human animals. So we don't want to use anyone for labor, entertainment, testing, or products if we don't have to.
I thought you meant like just not eating animals, or
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think it's just about that, but it's a lot more than that. It's actually challenging systemic exploitation of human and non-human animals.
all right. So animals have some nutrients that you can't really get from natural food. So like, why should we give up those nutrients for animals? What do animals provide for society exactly?
You can get all the nutrients you need on a plant-based diet. There's a lot of interesting technology coming out to even be culturing dairy and meat products. So even people who have like severe like glucose allergies of some kind can still be technically vegan.
All right. Second question: what do animals provide for society? Why should we keep them alive? There are a lot of animal species that would, like bears, gorillas, polar bears. They would kill us if they saw us at first sight. Why should we keep them alive?
I think we should respect ecosystems and environments, because without our ecosystems and environments, we won't live quality lives ourselves. And that being said, the domestic animals are only here because we're force graping them into existence to be here. They shouldn't exist at all.
What do you mean by forced graping?
Artificial insemination, like in dairy cows, they stick an arm up her ass, and then they inject her with semen with they put their arm up the ass to hold her cervix, and then put a rod up into her vagina and inject semen into her cervix. So they're actually graping animals.
Well, that's pretty bad. All right. So yeah, I understood your point. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, have a good day. Go to veganeasy.org to get help with any kind of nutrition questions or issues that you have.
The way he just came in here so like hot and heavy, like it's like, are you okay? I wanted to also ask, like, are you on Adderall? Like, did you forget your dose?
Perhaps. Oh my gosh.
I'm astounded by like two people in a row like having no idea about the importance of the ecosystem. Like I know I shouldn't be surprised, but like the full
I was just about to say, like, are you that surprised in the U.S. Education system?
like I learned about it and I was in the US education system, so I forget sometimes how much force it can be in some areas, but like I know this, but like just it's impossible for me to grasp the idea of like not understand the very simple like rain falls, plants grow, animals eat the plants, decomposing plant and animal material feed into the soil is necessary for the nutrients and the the funguses and everything is one big circle. Like people don't know that like on any level at all.
I mean, even if they just watched the beginning of The Lion King, they would get a summary.
Again, you guys are having so much fun and these people, but again, a lot of them are from the U.S. education like system. So again, and now that the Department of Education is no longer like in existence, quote unquote, yeah, it's gonna go downhill even worse. So like, we just got to brace ourselves.
It's still wild to me, the age of information, and people are so.
Well, yeah, and you also said like if they would watch the beginning of The Lion King, but again, people let it go right over their heads when they're watching shit like that. They just let it go right over their heads. It's sad.
What's in it for me keeping a healthy environment? It's like,
kind of everything, you know.
Where are you gonna live, bro?
If there's no ecosystem, then there are no trees, and then you're screwed. Can't if there's no plants, you're absolutely screwed.
Like the hypotheticals, like I sometimes have them come up and say, so hypothetically, if we had no plants to eat, what would we eat? It's like, well, no one would be eating. Like, what?
Right. Like, look up the Dust Bowl, you know? Just go learn about the Dust Bowl. Like, that's even what happens when you just don't farm properly and you don't rotate your crops. That's what happens.
Yeah, like we actually have history showing famine and the effects of that, guys, so. Oh my goodness.
Not even that long ago. Wasn't it in like the 50s?
No, like a lot of our major kind of pivoting moments, especially in the United States, happened within the past 100 years.
Yeah.
Like since my grandma was born in 1934, lots happened.
Since my grandma was born.
Yeah, so just like my grandma's existence, so
I'm
much
sorry,
shit.
just the fact that you just like were like my grandma.
My grandma. My grandma
Okay.
sourdough.
My
It
grandma
was in
got ran over
the
by a reindeer.
it's in the 1930s. I just checked.
Yeah. So yeah, it's wild. I don't know, guys. It's
Speaking of my grandma, did you know my grandmother's never pumped gas a day in her life?
really.
Yeah, my grandmother, and my grandfather have been together since they were like in high school. So he's always pumped gas for her or gone and got gas. So she's never
That's
pumped
really
gas.
cute, actually. I'm actually kind of annoyed that gas stations used to have people help you pump gas, and they're not very common anymore. I'm like, dang, guys, like that's actually really
Right.
nice.
But you know what's also funny about that is my grandfather would then, instead of letting her pump gas, he would go. She drove, but he would go get it like for her beforehand. He would go to the gas station where they pump for you, the only one in our town. I'm like, so you don't pump gas either, and she don't pump gas, but you go get gas anyways. I'm like, okay, got it.
Well, that's still kind of a favor. I can see why the logic is there.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
I would
just
also
funny
like
that
if somebody
he
could do it
still
for me.
chooses it. It's just funny because he still chooses to go to the gas station where they pump for you. So it's like,
See, like we would be doing that too, so it's not silly to us. Like, yeah, of course.
I just think it's cute that he did all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but I still can't believe I walked into that a few minutes ago. God damn, that guy was just.
It was kind of a wild combo. He could not, and he claimed to have all these studies of why, especially teenagers, need to eat dead animals, but he never mentioned a single study. So, again, just I don't know
Wow.
where all these studies are coming from, but I've never seen them.
I keep whenever I host, I ask people like, okay, drop them in my DMs. I'll look after the lives that done, and they almost never do. Like 99+% of the time, they don't do it.
It's kind of
Yeah,
disappointing
it's
because I actually do want to critique studies. Like I like doing that, so I'm always
Yeah.
disappointed when they don't give me anything.
I'm like, I would actually love to read that, and they're like, too lazy.
Right, and because all they come up here and they do is they do, I think, I feel, I believe, I want, I've seen, and I heard, like those type of statements. And it's like, okay, well, you're not really giving me much. It's all anecdotal. Like, that's not what I needed. Thank you, though.
I mean, a perfect example is the whole litter boxes in the classroom thing. Like,
oh my God.
I was like, are you sure it wasn't for the class cat, guys? Like,
I literally put an article in the Discord server. I literally put an article about the litter boxes, how it debunks it and shit. And it's like,
That's
God,
one
these
of the
people.
reasons for pew pewings as well. Not like one of the possible reasons it could be there. I've heard that as being like a backup option some select places have used.
Yes and no. I mean, like, they have buckets too. Like,
Yeah, like either way is very, of course, like, undignified. I just heard that was something
oh yeah.
that would have explained it besides whatever the right.
But see, they don't think that. They just think that people want to be different species and different genders. And
cat kids.
do you want to hear an argument against the trans thing, like quickly, for why? Like, and it was the most disgusting thing ever. I had someone come up and say that if a woman breastfeeds in public, right, or whatnot, then he can either go to the bathroom in the public, or he can have sex with his girlfriend on the street. So basically, doing all this in front of kids and him not having an issue. And I'm like, how disgusting are you? I was like, you are gross.
yeah, equating breastfeeding to either of those things is really weird.
Yep. Yep. If a woman could do that, then he's allowed to do that. And I'm like, you're gross. I was like, get the fuck off my panel. I want to be a cis guy. It's fucking funny.
Hi, John. Welcome back.
What's up?
What are you wanting to talk about?
Let's talk about veganism.
Didn't we already talk about this? Why aren't you vegan yet?
Well, because I enjoy killing animals.
Yeah, that just because you enjoy something, that's not a justification. You have to give me a moral justification. And if you still don't have
I don't
one,
believe
the
in morals.
conversation's not gonna progress.
I don't believe in morals.
Okay, that's irrelevant because morals are based on harm and observation of harm, and harm obviously exists.
That's true, but why is harm bad?
Because it's undesirable.
Is it always bad?
If it's, I mean, harm is
No,
being
there's
defined.
nuance.
So harm is being defined as unnecessary, like, I guess unnecessary inflicting like discomfort, pain, or anything onto someone without consent.
Yeah, do you have evidence to suggest that always leads to negative outcomes?
Typically we do see harm that you don't consent to as bad because it's undesirable to individuals. Like, you understand that, right?
I mean,
Just curious though, do you think
if
rights don't matter because they're social constructs, because you don't think morality exists?
I guess so. I guess in like an ungovernmenting society, which is in my idea is ideal.
Okay, so you don't think that rights matter or exist because
No.
they're social constructs?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
rights
so
only
money
exist
doesn't
if
matter and
there's a
money
government
doesn't
oppressing
stop,
you.
stop, stop. So money doesn't matter and money doesn't exist because it's just a social construct?
Exactly.
Okay, interesting, because money can actually really affect whether you eat or not.
That's true, but ideally it wouldn't.
So you don't really have a very strong argument that just because something is socially constructed, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I just said that ideally it wouldn't, impact your ability to eat.
But if you don't believe in rights, are you cool with forfeiting yours and letting anyone do whatever they want to you?
If I could forfeit my rights and live in a ungoverned tribal setting, I would.
Okay, so you don't believe in rights, so you're cool with forfeiting them so people can do whatever they want to you, like take your skin, take your head, grape you, like you're cool with that?
It depends.
You're always so nonsensical when you come up. Holy shit.
I was just about to put it in right before you.
I don't get why people do this for fun either. Like, I don't get it.
What? Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Because they're
Sorry.
sadists, I guess. I mean, honestly.
I'm still waking up.
And or masochists, and or something else.
Didn't we used to send young men like that to war? Didn't we used to have something to do with them?
I don't know. I didn't know anything about that.
Someone
I
had a
was just
theory
reading-
that the reason why we have so many incels, we haven't, like, traditionally used to send a lot of them off to war.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think it's more complex. There's so many more of them.
Right.
Seems like I don't know, more of a kind of nice thing to think about than what maybe actually is the reason. But yeah, I was actually just reading about like because I was wondering too, like, is anger addictive? Because like it seems like that's what's going on with a lot of them, that they literally just like being angry at something. They're not even thinking, or like I ask like, why do you care, or like what's like, why do you think this, and then they can't answer me. They can't even angrily answer me, and so I'm like, this is clearly just like they like being angry. And so I looked it up, and it's like, yeah, you can kind of be addicted to anger. It can do things for you. It can like relieve physical pain, I guess, and give you motivation a little bit and distract you from things. And it's just like a really weird coping mechanism. And his this makes it like even more complex to be on the other side of.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably also something linked between anger and maybe potentially even like hunting, some of the psychology behind that addiction to adrenaline and feeling achievement from doing that.
Yeah, people
Some
get their
people get
adrenaline
off.
different ways.
Some people get off being violent, and it's gross.
Mm-hmm. Hey, guest, how's it going?
Hello, Lydia.
Just an age check since you're up on the panel.
I'm 32.
Okay, great. Did you want to talk about a topic tonight?
Just the vegan stuff.
Okay, so what's your understanding of veganism?
That it's an ethical stance against the unnecessary suffering for sentient beings.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So what do you think about being vegan?
Well, I was sort of plant-based for 9 years in the past, and I haven't. I've just been eating like the standard Western diet for maybe the last 8 or 9 years.
Okay. So as far as the vegan side, like, do you support animal abuse? Like, because you know that's more than just food.
I get that, and I think that the ethical stuff for me is like a nice sidekick to being plant-based, but I still think the health argument is much more compelling for me.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like plant-based diets, like obviously people pursuing those are going to be a lot more health focused, but you know, like supporting entertainment industries like SeaWorld has nothing to do with diet. So people really should still value the ethical side, because you could be on a plant-based diet but then still support capturing baby orcas from the wild and pushing them into like entertainment systems for 30 years. So that's why I really push the ethical side, because there's a lot more victims outside of just the food industry.
Yeah, I get that and everything, and I do think that I'm personally quite like progressive with stuff like that. I would never go to see animal entertainment or anything, and I think that bull runs are wrong, and I think that SeaWorld is wrong. But it's just like sort of everywhere, isn't it? Like you, even going on an aeroplane, the seats are going to be made out of leather and stuff, you know?
Yeah, so it's about, especially when it's about the ethics, we are trying to get people to realize, you know, that they like choose the options where you can, because obviously we're not living in a vegan world yet. So obviously if you buy a used car, like you said, an airplane, they have leather seats. But the more people who are pushing, hey, we want cruelty-free options, we're going to start making more products, you know, not from animals, but from alternatives and stuff. So the shift in consumerism can change like the products that will be, you know, made. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to perpetuate like the ethical message, because I want people thinking about more how we're using animals, even just outside of direct consumption.
I mean, just randomly, I did watch like Earthlings on YouTube. Have you seen that?
I think I'm trying to think. Earthlings, I think, was an older version of a Dominion. Maybe I think they're very similar. At least have some of the. But yeah, there's a lot of similar documentaries that I've seen enough of to kind of understand them as like a scope.
And I did accidentally eat completely vegan all day today.
Well, that's good.
But
yeah,
I wanted to ask you actually, are you familiar with a study called the China Study by Colin Campbell?
yeah, there's a huge book about it. I usually don't reference it a whole lot. It has some pretty interesting like things stated that could be further studied, but I typically like to be very specific with the studies that I use when I'm making health claims. So like I like the Health Adventist 2 study. I like the Epic Oxford study. The twin study is very interesting too. But I typically don't reference the China study because there are some potential issues with some of the research they've done. So I like to find stronger studies that are a little bit more specific with their findings, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, just because I used to have that book and I remember I found it really interesting, so I was just kind of wanting to see if you'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, it had a lot of interesting findings, but I think that was like the first book and kind of study that kind of brought a lot of the plant-based stuff forward for me, especially because so many Asian cultures have a lot of, you know, plant-based culinary. So we've been able to kind of see differences. Like soy consumption is like the biggest thing I think noted in there. So that was like one of the first ones to pique interest. But then I found Dr. Greger, he has nutritionfacts.org, and his team goes over thousands and thousands and thousands of dietary studies per year. So that's a really good resource if you've ever heard of it, nutritionfacts.org.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. Thanks for speaking to me today. And I just want to say that your lives are making a difference, because I'm going to definitely, I've been watching some vegan lives and I'm definitely going to start changing my shopping habits and, you know, slowly work towards it. So that's great.
Well, great to hear. And thank you for being around support. I've seen you in comments in a few lives saying hey. But yeah, thank you so much for your support.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Have a good day or evening. If you're in the UK, it's definitely evening now. Hi JJ, how's it going? Gypsy ran. I hate it when they do that. They're like dropping mad opinions and comment, but then if I have another guest for like a couple minutes, they run.
That always happens because they're impatient.
What
Just
time
did the
is it?
Wordle.
Do what?
Just did the Wordle. It was a tough one.
Oh no.
Anybody in chat do the Wordle? How many guesses did it take you?
My family does Wordle. I have yet to get into it. I probably should though. I need little puzzles like that.
I like how it's like an intersection of like a word game and like a logic game.
Which I need to get back into like writing, like handwriting more, because there's studies showing that if you even spend just 15 minutes a day writing something, it can help with your memory retention long term.
I don't doubt it, yeah.
Because it's just
There's
the way
something
something
different.
about like handwriting, because you have to recall things. Like the exercise of that is really good.
It's like slower, so it just does better for your attention span, I guess. Yeah, it makes sense because like your brain's usually quite a few words ahead of what your like hand is actually doing, so you have to hold it there. Yeah. There have been like a lot of correlations which correspond with the like falling performance of students. One of them is, I think, the switch from primarily note taking by hand to primarily note taking by laptop. I think that's probably one of the lesser causes compared to the other ones involved, but it's worth noting.
I mean, I definitely don't study as well if I don't handwrite things and then like use like make my own like flashcards kind of thing. Like taking notes on a PC, I could never just get into.
I never felt like it when I was in like school or even college. Like in college, I had kind of the option to, but by then I just liked, kind of the aesthetic and like doodling and all that good stuff. But now I feel like it would be a hassle to use paper, which is interesting. Like just personally, I feel like it doesn't make that much of a difference mentally, but I feel like writing itself, I would still want to do on the side if I did take notes with my laptop.
Well, like the perks of like using a computer is you can actually like copy and paste links and all that so much faster. That's why I like to use it for a lot of
Pros
things.
and cons. I also type quite fast. I've got an average of 100 words per minute, so it's really nice to just sort of be able to stream of consciousness instead of, taking more time. Makes it so I spend less time with my attention divided, which makes me feel like I'm, taking better notes.
Oh my goodness, if you disagree, guys, can you request? Like, I'm not going to respond to your comments. I don't like
Like a simple no isn't something to respond to.
one truth and two lies. Come up and talk about it.
Let's go. We haven't talked about trans people in a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of want to do.
Please,
that's why I was like. That's why I was annoyed why that last woman ran. I'm like, dude, you're throwing so many crazy statements. We need to address this. Don't run.
She was worried about the 2-on-1, I think.
Maybe, I don't know.
I will
Well, she
happily
wanted to
debate
change
this.
her mind, obviously. Like, I think she was really afraid we would get her to see things differently.
But I will happily debate the trans topic.
They've been running a lot more lately, I've noticed.
They always do. When I host debates on or discussions on trans topics, they always run.
They're running quicker and less convicted, yeah.
RC requested earlier. You guys know about RC, right? You know who he is?
Not really.
No.
Long story short, he's been around for several years. He is corporate conservative bootlicker. So he likes to talk about the trans topic a lot. And I've seen him get roasted so many times on the trans topic. Like, he does not argue very well. And he like invited me to join his podcast. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Going to a conservative podcast is kind of scary.
Yeah, no.
Which I
That's what I
would
got at
probably,
Aldi's. Oops,
it's
sorry,
just
what?
like I would probably do fine, but I'm just like it just feels icky. Like I like being in my space because I can kind of control things a little bit better.
Right. Guess what I just got at Aldi's the other day?
What?
Fruit Riot Sour Mango Mix, raspberry and peach, fresh frozen mango splashed with lemon juice and a sour candy coating.
What is that? Oh my gosh, sounds good.
It is, or I shouldn't say it is because I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds good. Yes. It's sorry, stuff just fell out of my freezer. It's overstuffed. But yeah, I guess it's like fresh mango frozen and then like splashed with lemon juice and sour candy coating.
That's really cool.
I know.
So an ice cream thing, a sorbet thing. Like I'm just having trouble picturing what this is. I'm sorry.
I don't know. That's what I gotta find out when I try
I'm
it.
like, am I imagining a cup scenario? A Talenti tub? You know?
It's in a bag. I know that. I just don't know what like it tastes like.
Italian ice.
It could taste like Italian ice or something. I don't know.
Dude, the AI summary of the live is debating the impact of handwriting on memory. Share your thoughts on note taking.
They do such a bad job with it sometimes.
Yeah, why in the hell should I be vegan?
Oh boy. What do you think veganism is?
People who don't eat meat.
Yeah, so that's a dietary aspect. Yeah, that'd be
So
vegetarian.
why should I be vegan?
So veganism is a stance against exploitation of human and non-human animals. So we don't want to use anyone for entertainment or labor or testing our products if we don't have to.
So you're
it's
saying I
more-
shouldn't
so
eat
it's more than
cheeseburgers
just-
from McDonald's? So I shouldn't eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's?
Do you support animal abuse being defined as unnecessary harm?
I support eating animals.
That's not what my question was.
Okay. Why would I support abusing animals besides killing them?
Well, do you support animal abuse?
No, unless they
Okay,
just kill
so
if you
logically-
what do you define how do you define animal abuse? Like smacking them on the ass and beating them?
Any harm that's unnecessary.
So if it was just dead right then and there, you wouldn't have a problem with it, and if I ate it.
I don't care if you eat roadkill, but the issue there is people will intentionally start hitting animals so they can eat them.
No. If someone shoots a cow, one shot done for, and they eat it, do you care about that?
It depends on the situation. If they have to for survival, it's justified. But if it's just because they want a burger and they have other options, then no, it's not justified. It's not right to do. It would be considered abuse because it's unnecessary.
How do you think other animals survive?
Doing anything they can. Are you out in the wild without any grocery stores or options?
What do grocery stores have?
That didn't answer my question. Are you out in the wild surviving in like a cave with just fire and sticks with no phone?
Again, what do grocery stores have?
You're not going to answer my question. I need you to engage. Are you out in the wild without
What do
any
grocery stores
modern
have?
options or agriculture or anything like that? Because you're saying other animals do it, so I should do it too. But these other animals are intense survival situations. You're
We're
not.
using it for survival too.
You have options.
We're using it for survival too.
No, a lot of it's for taste, pleasure, and tradition.
Nope, it's for survival.
Okay, what's the survival situation?
To survive.
You're not giving me an example why we have McDonald's. McDonald's is for
survive.
survival?
Yup.
It's not. It's for profit and taste.
Wrong.
In fact, consuming too much McDonald's has been shown to actually increase your risk for diabetes, cancer, and other serious chronic diseases. So if it's for survival, it's actually unaliving us faster. So that's not about survival.
Same as for animals. Animals that eat other animals, they have increased risk of whatever. Health problems?
Yeah, carnivorous animals do have high rates of cancer because that's the nature of consuming meat. But a lot of
Yep.
animals in the free
Bingo.
world, they don't have options. Like snakes have to eat other animals because that's how their system is set up. You are an ape and you have other options. You can eat plants and get your protein and everything you need from
No,
plants.
we can't just eat plants all the time. We have to
Okay, so
also
what's
eat
your
animals.
evidence? So what's your evidence for that?
What's your evidence that's not true?
There's the Health Adventist 2 study that shows that plant-based diets are sustainable and can reduce chronic diseases. There's the Epic Oxford
You said
study.
sustainable.
Yes, and then there's the twins study showing that twins, when they're on different diets, plant-based versus omnivores, plant-based people had better markers for health overall compared to the omnivore twin. There's a lot of data. So what is your study saying that we have to eat animals?
There's studies that say animals help you survive.
Okay, so name one.
Why didn't you name a study?
I named like 3.
Cool.
So you don't have any evidence?
I do.
Okay, so what's the study?
The study is why humans should eat animals. That's what the study's called.
Why? That sounds like an article. Is this peer reviewed?
No, it's a study. Search up the study. Why humans should eat animals.
What's the PMID?
I
Do you think
don't
all of
look
us
at the
just woke up
PMIDs. I
yesterday?
just look at the study.
Exactly. Do you think all of us just woke up yesterday? Like, come on, be so for real.
Okay, no one asked for your opinion, Upstate. That's subjective.
But I'm saying you're not
You
giving me a
have
study. It sounds like you're just
exactly.
giving me
You
like
I
have
an
just did give you a
article.
study. I just did give you a study.
you
Why
have not been
humans should eat
talking this whole
animals. Search it
conversation.
up. Search it up. Why humans should eat animals.
So
Also,
you're not giving me details about the study. What's the conclusion?
you said trans women are women. No, they're not.
Okay,
So
why are
you're
you?
pivoting?
Yeah, they're moving the goal.
How are trans women women?
Why aren't they?
Hold on. We
You
have
can't
other
handle it?
guests. Do we want to move on to one of the other 2
Yep.
people?
Next. Sorry, I couldn't deal with it. How he was disrespecting you by not answering your question. It was annoying the fuck out of me.
Okay, what do you mean God is man-made?
Age?
18.
I mean, God is man-made. It's kind of obvious because we have anthropomorphized these deities and made social constructs around them, and specific cultures have made specific deities to help them with the specific things that they're interested in. Like war cultures, like Abrahamic religions, have Baal, like the war god. And then there's like, fertility gods for agriculture, like civilizations. Like humans, it's very obvious we molded gods to fit what we need spiritually.
Well, I'm a Christian, and God is not man-made because Adam and Eve, the first humans, they would not be humans if they were not real, if God was not real.
So you can get God down here right now in this live in a box talking to us?
No.
Right now.
That's
Okay,
not
so
possible.
then how is God not man-made and how is God not like real?
Okay, then how did Jesus come back 3 days later after he died?
I don't
It's
care about
all-
religion. I'm not religious.
Yeah, that's all alleged. Like you're very young and realize that a lot of these stories are just that stories. We don't have evidence to support that. Like
I was gonna
evolutionary wise, like there's not enough evidence to support that all humans just came from 2 people. That means they would have to inbred and done a lot of weird things. Like genetically, it doesn't make sense for all humans to derive from only 2 single people.
Well, 2 years ago, I was gonna commit suicide, and I heard a voice that said, "Dominic, please don't commit suicide. I love you." And that's not possible, is it?
It is possible because that, like, and it's you have to be very careful when you're ascribing meaning to what we call miracles or experiences, because a lot of that is just coming from our brains. There's a deep internal voice in you helping guide you through life, and I think that's our brain communicating with itself. It doesn't have to be a deity.
Well, I know my God is real, and I do believe in my God, and he did save my life more than once. And no, he's not man-made, because every time when someone talks about it, a prophecy becomes true.
Wait, how do you
And
know
that's
that he saved you?
Because, I don't know, I just know he saved me because I was a Satanist, now I'm a Christian. That's how.
That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry for that, but God did save my
Did this voice say, "I am God, and this is my message to you"?
No,
Okay,
but
so that's no.
So how do you know?
I think I know God's voice when
Again, can you get God down in a box right now?
not
Talk to
possible.
it.
He's in
Okay, so
heaven.
then God's not real. Thank you.
He is.
Nope.
God is
You
real.
can't get God down here to talk to us. God's not real. Thank you. Next.
God is real. God bless you guys.
well, thank you for coming up and sharing your opinion. But again, it's just like you're young. I've had a lot of very interesting experiences when it comes to having visions, seeing things, hearing things, but we have to be very careful not to ascribe these deities that other humans taught us about to these experiences, because I largely think it has a lot to do with our brain communicating with itself. And there's some interesting psychology behind that I think is really, really fascinating. So I'm glad that you're still here and that you're taking care of yourself, but be careful what you are ascribing these supernatural experiences to.
Hello,
Hi there. How old are you, please?
I'm 20.
Okay, great. Which topic would you like to discuss?
Um, let's start with being a vegan.
Okay, or do you want to talk about the trans women topic? Because we've been talking about the vegan topic a lot. I don't mind mixing it up if you want to talk about one of the other ones.
I mean, I just think the veganism one's probably more interesting.
Okay, no worries. So what's your understanding of veganism?
I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of a moving target. Sometimes it's defined as eliminating the unnecessary suffering of animals, but like just definitionally, if suffering's unnecessary, it shouldn't happen. Sometimes it's framed as kind of like a dietary thing, where it's like the elimination of animal products and consuming them or whatnot. But broadly, it's like I think it makes more sense to talk about the issue in terms of animal welfare. But I mean, that's kind of my understanding of veganism, like eliminating a lot of animal suffering.
Okay, so at its core, it's just a stance against exploitation. So we don't want to exploit human or non-human animals for labor, entertainment, testing, or products if we don't have to.
What do you mean by exploit?
Using their bodies unfairly for gain or benefit, typically without consent.
So, I mean, I'm against when you say fairness. Like, presumably, does that just mean like it's wrong? Because I'm obviously against the wrong usage. Like, if you just define the view as the elimination of doing things that are wrong to animals, like I'm with you. But there's another substantive claim of like, okay, what is wrong, right? Because the disagreement is probably like what is wrong, right? Because I agree we should get rid of wrong animal suffering, but the whole point is like what animal suffering counts as wrong and why.
And it's not even about suffering though. Like suffering can definitely be an aspect, but it's really about exploitation, the use of someone's body, which typically is without consent or in a way that they're never given an option. And it's for the benefit of the oppressor, not the individual.
Okay, so turning to like, I don't know, let's say factory farming. What do you think is wrong about factory farming?
The normalized use of the female reproductive system, the separation of babies from their mothers, the commodification of their actual physical bodies, and all this is running off of treating them like commodities without their consent.
Why would it be
But doing a lot of
morally?
unnecessary kind of mutilation of the animals as well, like debeaking, dehorning, all
Why
kinds
would
of
it be?
things without anesthesia or numbing at all.
Why would it be morally necessary to not do those things?
Well, do you have a harm reduction principle or don't you?
I don't have like a generalized harm principle where I should eliminate all kinds of harm. No.
Okay, what are your axioms?
You see how you're flipping the burden on me. Like I'm trying to investigate because the claim is you should be vegan, right?
Well, I'm just curious.
Okay, well I'm curious too. So
Okay, so like,
that's my
so
point.
then
Like,
if you don't
why?
go by harm reduction, then what do you go by?
Do you see how this pivots from the thing we were originally curious about, which is why I should be vegan?
We're trying to see if you should be vegan by exploring the moral framework you already have.
Right, because we
Oh,
kind of have
well-
to agree on axioms or something like that first.
Well, that's the whole point, though. Like, if you're an advocate of veganism, then you have your moral framework and you're using it to evaluate. That's why I'm trying to understand what the moral framework is that allows you to generate the conclusion that we should be vegan. Like, that's where it started, you know? So you said it's morally necessary. Why is it morally necessary that we eliminate all those things?
So, do you support animal abuse being defined as unnecessary harm?
Well, if it's unnecessary, definitionally, of course I don't support it.
Okay, well, there you go. That you should be vegan because
That doesn't follow either, because
it's the best way to avoid unnecessary harm by
presupposes what?
disengaging from just casual commodification of someone else's body and labor and
What's
entertainment.
what's the standard for necessity?
Because that's your moral framework. You said that you
No,
don't.
what's the standard for necessity?
Standard, if you don't need it for survival, then it's unnecessary.
How do you identify? Well, survival in like a minimal sense or survival in like a flourishing sense? Like if something's unnecessary to flourish, but it's necessary, or something, if something's necessary to survive, but it's not necessary to flourish, is it okay?
I'm sorry, what? It's
Like if the
necessary-
appropriation of animal resources would be necessary to improve the quality of your life, but it's not necessary to minimally survive, is that morally okay?
No, because it'd be kind of a weird thing to go to because it would be like, well, if someone could justify like, well, I don't have to beat dogs, but I like beating dogs. It gives me exercise and I get adrenaline pleasure from it. And it helps me flourish better and it makes me feel happier at work. So no, I think it would actually have, when we're talking about people and animals' rights, there has to be an actual like survival necessity when we're talking about causing harm to them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question would just be, why is that the standard for what's morally like? Why is moral necessity determined in light of simply surviving and not in terms of living the best life that you can? Why would I accept that as the moral standard?
For me, I just think that harm reduction is important no matter who is experiencing it. And so for me, it's comparing harm of something's existence or it happening versus the harm of it not happening and so on. And so that's, like I consider like consent violations to be a type of harm as well. So like, it just ends up being that, like you just minimize the suffering.
Well, harm reduction is saying that you should reduce harm is different than saying something is moral necessity has to do with the minimum to survive. It's a separate issue. But I want to
survive again. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you had to cause suffering to increase the quality of your life, that'd be a hard trade-off. Like, I don't think that would
you
be
think it's
worth
immoral?
it. Because the harm reduction isn't being traded for harm; it's being traded for a luxury not being there, which isn't harm.
What's your theory of harm? Because you are in fact benefiting yourself when you exploit animals. So it's not as if you're not deriving benefit from the exploitation of animals.
So the lack of an extra thing is not harm.
What's your theoretics on harm?
Theoretics of harm.
Yeah, like in the philosophy of harm.
Theoretics. You just made that up.
I mean, no, I'm not. Go look on YouTube Shorts what a harm theoretic view is, and it will tell you that there's philosophers who talk about theories of harm. One such view is the counterfactual account of harm. One such view is the Epicurean account of harm.
Okay, so theories, not theoretics.
Are you joking to me?
I'm just
harm
getting
theoretics
clear
is the study of theories of harm. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Okay.
Well, I don't know why you tried knowledge gap to me. Like I don't know
No,
what.
I was just getting clear on that because you said.
Well, I don't know
theories
why. Why
after,
did you
and I was
cope laugh
not
when I
sure.
said? I don't know why
And
you
I was
cope
not
laugh.
sure. I was just not sure if those
Yeah,
meant
why
the
did
same
you do
thing or
that?
not. I was just not sure if they meant the same thing.
Okay,
I was
what it
asking
sounded
a
like
question,
is it sounded
dude.
like you arrogantly
Are you
tried to
good?
knowledge
No,
gap
I'm
me,
not trying
and then
to
after I
condescend.
explained that you were wrong, you're
Being
obviously walking it
curious, you're
back.
getting triggered, bro.
Right,
Why are you
explain
getting
it.
triggered?
Hey, well, maybe just tips for next time when you're curious, don't sound arrogant. But returning back to the point, why would I accept that as the moral standard
I
for?
was at first, and then I was curious. So there you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's cool. I accept your apology. Look, but why would I? Let's return to the central point. Like, why would I accept any of those standards from reality, either the minimum survival view or the harm reduction view? Like, why should I accept that? Or why should any
That's not a
agent
minimum
accept
survival
that?
view.
You said it's what?
I never said I have a minimum survival view. I think it's
That was the host view.
better quality of life is good.
That's the host view. Your view is harm
right.
reduction, right?
Right. So
Yeah,
for me
so that's why I said
personally,
order. Yeah.
when I talk, so this is a side convo. I'm not speaking for Lydia or anything like that, and she can just like take back the conversation whenever she wants. For me, like if you want to talk about like what is good, we have to agree on some principle, any principle on which to go off of, and one of my biggest ones is harm reduction. So if you can't agree with me on that, like I don't know where to go from there. I'm not gonna convince you to convert to my axiom. I don't know how to do that.
Is it arbitrary?
No. Arbitrary means having no reason to it.
Yeah, but is there any greater reason in favor of accepting harm reduction as a starting place for ethics than any other principle?
Because I just, I do think subjectively that, suffering is bad, but that's a reason. So beyond that, if you try to ask like why it's bad,
not better or worse than any other.
I guess I would be able to explain that like there's a negative experience attached to my suffering, and so I guess that'd be the reason. But beyond that, sure, nothing else beyond that.
Right. So we agree there's not any reason that would favor accepting harm theory or accepting harm reduction as the foundation for your ethical worldview than any other principle.
Well, like if you disagree with me, then you would also, if you disagree with the reason that leads me to believe that, then you would like enjoy pain in your own body.
Can I just get an answer to my question?
No, like seriously.
No, like seriously, can I get an answer to the question you didn't answer?
The heart of the matter is like.
The heart of the matter is you giving me yes or no.
If you don't want to accept the harm reduction thing, then like you would have to accept that harm.
I'm understanding the nature. I'm inquiring about the nature of the assertion, and that's the thing you're dodging right now.
I'm trying to get clear as to why you don't agree, because I'm just if you don't.
I have to know the nature of the assertion.
What? You're like running so far away. I'm trying to get like stay on the thing.
This is the point. The nature of the look. Prior to me assenting to the principle you're giving me, I have to understand the nature of the assertion. That's why I asked you the yes/no question. Is the harm reduction principle an arbitrary aspect of your moral philosophy, or do you have a defense of it in contrast to other? Why I can't convince, is that because it's arbitrary? Is that what you're trying to say?
I actually didn't agree that it was arbitrary. I gave you my reasons.
I know. I asked you yes or no, is it? And you refused to answer my question. So is it arbitrary or is it not? This is where we're at. Like this is the most productive way to continue this conversation.
I said a more complicated answer, but I said no, essentially.
It's not okay. What's the advantage of harm theoretics as harm reduction as a foundation for ethics as opposed to any other worldview? What's the advantage?
What's the advantage?
Yeah.
Utility wise, or
what's the theoretical advantage of that view?
I mean, I could make a utility argument, but usually I don't know. Again, this would just come back to like if you think it's completely like there's no reason to reduce harm, then you would be fine with as much harm coming to you as.
Do you have can you establish an advantage or not, bro?
Do you think that it's good for you to avoid harm?
Do you think that? Yeah, within some contexts.
I'm getting pretty tired of this, dude.
I mean, I would be pretty tired too if you danced around the question I've been asking you.
No, you're doing that.
Really? How many questions have I dodged of yours after I've already given you a question? Because you're dodging the point you made. What? You're trying to pivot away. Like the first thing you did when you tried to speak was to shift the burden of proof. And then after I asked you a yes or no question, you gave me 3 soliloquies in an attempt to not answer my question. And then I was really persistent about it. You finally said no. And in light of you saying no, I asked you for the advantage for your view over the other view, a commitment of yours because you said no. And in response to that, you then asked me another derailing question. So just answer my question. What is the advantage of your worldview?
I don't know what we mean by advantage.
I mean, the advantage would be really basic. It would be like it's very practical. It saves lives and reduces abuse and necessary harm in the world.
Yeah, I was going to say.
When you say it's practical, do you mean it's easier to follow than other views?
No, so we just said utility of like.
Well, there are 3 reasons. There are 3 reasons, right? Presumably, the reason you'd care about utility is because you endorse the harm reduction principle, right? So if that's the appeal you're making, it's circular. And then on the issue of practicality,
I don't think so.
You don't think it's circular to justify harm reduction by saying if you follow this principle, it reduces harm?
Well, in the end, all ethics are
So it's
circular.
arbitrary. Nice, dude. Awesome.
No, no,
Now,
no,
now
no,
we've
no,
gone
no.
to the point where,
Stop. I said it
To an
saves
extent.
lives. I said it saves
A
lives.
bigger loop.
but the
Always
value, but the
everything that makes it
value.
The value of harm reduction is obviously because it does save lives. It
Yeah,
actually
but
does keep humans liberated from exploitation as well.
but when you say the
Very,
value of
very
the
simple
theory,
and practical.
when you say the value of the theory is that it saves life, that presupposes that the reason why saving lives is valuable is because of the harm reductive principle, right?
Not well, that one in particular. There's also like other practicalities.
I just want
which,
to clarify that's
everybody
right.
likes,
Right?
like in
Can we be on the
general,
same page
people
about this
like
point before we move on? Are we on the same page that when you say this view is good because it reduces harm, that is circular?
all axioms are circular.
Yeah, but not all. This is not an axiom. This is an arbitrary moral theory. An axiom is something which is inescapable when you try to negatively demonstrate it. So, for
Axioms
example,
are the building blocks for moral systems, and my axiom is that harm reduction is good and suffering is bad.
yeah. So whenever you watch the second YouTube short over how axioms work, it will explain to you that not any arbitrary claim is an axiom. Okay, so like in order for something to be an axiom, it doesn't just mean that it's the starting place for your worldview. It means that it's inescapably the starting place for your worldview. So, for example, avoiding contradictions is an axiom because not only is it the starting place, but you cannot escape avoiding contradictions. You cannot escape that contradictions are incoherent. However, saying that we should reduce harm is not an axiom because you can in fact escape conceptually reducing harm as the ethical starting point, which is why when you say it's circular, you're demonstrating to me that it's arbitrary. Nevertheless, like, can we just, I just want to clarify, can we be on the same page here that harm reduction as a moral principle, if you say the reason I adopt this view is because it reduces harm, can we agree that's circular?
So, like, when you said contradictions, I'm just curious, did you mean, like, purely logical contradictions or, like, all types
Yes.
of contradictions?
Yes.
Only logical ones?
Yeah, that's why the law of
How
identity
is
is a
that
logical
moral
axiom.
then? How is a logical contradiction like a moral issue? I don't
Okay, you
understand.
didn't understand. The point I made is that
Mhm.
you said that your harm reductive principle was an axiom, and I gave you a parody of how you're misunderstanding how axioms work by explaining the test for something being an axiom by referencing how the law of non-contradiction is an axiom because it cannot be escaped in conception. But in fact, harm reduction can be escaped in conception, which is why it's not an axiom in the way you're defending it. It's an arbitrary circular assertion.
So you're saying that axioms aren't moral ever?
I'm just saying the thing you presented to me was not an axiom. It was a circular assertion.
Is non-contradiction a moral thing? I'm just trying to understand.
Okay. You said harm reduction was an axiom. Yes?
Answer the question.
Did you ask me a question? You said, I'm trying to understand. And you stopped speaking. What was the question?
Mhm. The question is, are axioms never moral? Or like,
You
are
can
you,
have
or are
moral
you
ac-
saying
yes,
that
moral axioms can
non-contradiction,
exist.
or are you saying that non-contradiction is a moral thing? Which one?
I didn't say either of those things.
Okay, so what's going on there?
Okay, I'm going to explain this for the third time. I mean,
How
if
is
this is
non-contradiction?
too, do you not want me to explain it to you?
So one of two things would make it relevant. Either the axiom is never moral, and thus my, presupposition can't be an axiom,
What?
or non-contradiction is somehow relevant to morals.
Yeah, okay, yes. It's relevant in explaining to you what an axiom is and why what you're saying is not an axiom. When you
Can
say
axioms
something is,
be a foundation for morality?
I think what? Sorry, what was your question?
Can axioms be a foundation for morality?
Yes, morality has axioms. Yep.
Okay. So what's an example of a moral axiom?
Well, that would
Because
just be me explaining
non-contradiction
to you
doesn't
my
sound like
moral
a moral
worldview.
axiom to
That would
me.
literally just be me explaining to you my moral worldview. That's not investigating your worldview. It's not the same.
Shouldn't
Do
we
you
understand what
understand
it
how you're
stands
doing
for
the thing? You're trying to
to-
burden switch again?
Shouldn't you be able to do that so we can explain to you why you should
I
be
mean,
vegan
shouldn't
from
you
your
be able to
perspective?
explain your worldview?
So that we can explain to you why you should be vegan from your perspective.
Why don't you explain to me why you're a vegan? Because that's what the claim says, that I should be a vegan. And you presumably have a worldview that you use to say I am a vegan.
Stop. You already said you don't support animal abuse.
Yeah, because the way you defined abuse is trivial.
Yeah,
Of course.
because abuse is unnecessary harm.
Yeah, but we disagree about what the standard for necessity is. And then Indigo here jumped in to talk about harm reduction as
Yeah,
the
so
standard.
necessity isn't based on like if something's like convenient or makes you more money.
What's the
That's
standard?
not. It's about if it's like for survival or not.
Yeah, but then I asked you, why would I accept that the standard for moral necessity is just surviving and not about the quality of your life?
Because there's obviously many cases, especially in human rights, where we exploited humans to like make a lot of money, but it's obviously still wrong because there's someone who suffers and is unconsenting to that happening to them.
I mean, just giving an example of where it'd be wrong does not establish the general principle.
So I value harm reduction because it's very obvious these sentient beings do experience harm and experience immense suffering in their life. Like
Right,
it's not a circular position. It's grounded in like observable evidence of the impacts of harm and consequences long term. And this happens for both human and non-human animals.
I mean, I can
So
accept
why-
that harm is.
Yeah. So why are you not a vegan?
Do you see how you're burden shifting?
Well, because I'm up here wanting to talk about your morals and ethics. I'm already a vegan.
Yeah, but you said
Like,
you
I'm
should be
wanting
vegan.
to understand why you are not yet a vegan and why you don't respect others and their rights yet.
Yeah, I was under the impression that your background's because they're positive statements. Or are you defending the positive statements you made?
Yeah, we already went over that. You said you don't support animal abuse, so I'm like, there you go. You should be vegan because being vegan is the best intentional way for you to avoid unnecessary harm to others.
Yeah, but necessity according to you. And then I'm asking you, why should I adopt your
Again,
standard
so
necessity in circular?
because necessity is going to be based on if you need or not. For example, someone has to eat an animal because if they don't, they're going to unalive. That's like a very basic necessity. You should not eat an animal just because it tastes nice, and it might give you like a dopamine rush for like 15 minutes afterwards.
But what's this?
You have to give me a better justification for taking someone's life and violating their rights than just it just tastes nice and made me feel good.
Yeah, but all of your moralizing about them having rights presupposes your harm reduction view, which when I asked for a defense of, you just said, I mean, well, your friend said that it was circular. And then you said that it's based on the evidence that we can see about the effects of harm. But you can in fact concede all of the effects of harm. And that doesn't establish why the fundamental moral principle is reducing harm.
It's because beings are sentient and have capacity of suffering. And harm does matter because it frustrates their interests. And we see that in other humans and we see this in other animals.
But you just said reducing harm matters because if you don't reduce harm, then you'd be causing harm, and causing harm should be reduced. So
You
that's
would be
circular.
causing unnecessary harm.
Yeah, exactly. That's circular.
Yeah. So you have, well, it's not exactly circular. Like it sounds like that, but I can extrapolate and say it's because these sentient beings have subjective life experiences like you and I and can
Therefore.
suffer because of your choices for unnecessary reasons.
But your standard for necessity.
That's why harm does matter and harm reduction does matter because we're directly impacting human and non-human animal lives.
Look, so I'm with you that in fact animals are sentient and they can suffer. I'm with you. Animals can be harmed. That's descriptive. But you're making a second claim, which is that foundationally morality is about reducing harm. And then when I ask you, why should I reduce harm according to your standard? You then appeal to, oh, if we don't, then we cause harm. And then this is where it's circular. You say, and that matters because we should reduce harm and harm should be reduced, which is circular. You're saying we should reduce harm because we should reduce harm.
No, I'm saying we should reduce harm because of sentient individuals have subjective experiences like humans. Their suffering does matter.
But it matters because of why.
It impacts because I don't want my body to be infringed upon. I don't want to be stabbed because it's an undesirable condition to be in. And consent is a really important factor when
So
it
the
comes
moral-
to how we treat others.
Okay, so then the moral standard is not fundamentally reducing harm. It's about what you want.
It's still about a harm reduction principle.
What is it fundamentally? Is it, should I reduce harm because I desire to reduce harm? Or should I reduce harm simply
It's
because harm
because
reduction is
others
fundamentally
have
good?
interests that have nothing to do with you, and they don't want you infringing upon or frustrating those interests.
So it's about what the animals want.
It's about what human and non-human animals want.
So it's about what's the subject of the want? So it's based on wants now. It's very clear to me that the moral principles is just what people want. Is it about what the collective aggregately wants?
No, it's about like how each individual, whether human or non-human, they avoid pain, they avoid unnecessary use and labor.
Okay.
They don't want things happening to them
These are
without their
descriptive.
consent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's very like easy to see why this is important, even as a collective. This includes non-humans as well.
You say it's important. Why is animal suffering important to me as a decision maker? Is it because I want animal welfare, or is it because the animals want welfare?
Because you are an animal and you wouldn't want the same thing happening to you, right?
Okay, so is this some kind of universalization? What is the
Like,
point here?
is pain desirable for you?
Sometimes pain is desirable.
Okay, pain without consent, is that desirable for you?
Sometimes pain without consent is also desirable.
Are you sure about that?
Really?
Yes.
Because consent is a really big factor here, dude.
Yeah, so for example, if I'm like in the forest, I'll give you an example. I'm in the forest, I trip over something, I get hurt, now I realize, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't run full speed in the forest.
So
like
then you
hurt with no
change your
consent.
speed. That's not desirable. I don't know what the fucking
Yeah,
point you're
the
making
whole point is that the pain was a indicator to allow me to change my beliefs such that I experience a better life, and that had nothing to do with consent or non-consent.
But when we're talking about, like, the whole thing about veganism, we're choosing to do this to other animals. And it's
Okay.
not a good justified reason. It's not based on survival, even necessity.
You're presupposing that. Like
I'm
fundamentally,
not
I mean,
presupposing that. The majority of animal ag, we put, like, for instance, we capture orcas and put them in SeaWorld and put them into
I'm with you on the
decades of
description.
torture.
I'm with you on the description.
So yes, there's most of animal ag, most of animal usage is unnecessary.
Well, again, your standard for necessity is the thing I'm asking you to demonstrate is.
I already have. Just because something might make you more money, that's not a justification. It has to be an actual survival situation.
Yeah, I know. You're leveraging this moral standard to criticize what people do in agriculture,
I
etc.
just want to know why you are not a vegan.
Right now, I'm not a vegan because I don't think either of you have successfully demonstrated an argument for your moral principle.
That's nothing to do with this conversation, because it's before this conversation. Why have you not been a vegan?
I'm not a vegan because I have a difference of worldview.
Okay, so what is that ethical worldview? Because you said you don't support animal abuse.
To observe how
That's all you need to understand why you should be vegan.
because you defined it as unnecessary. Like, of course, qua my moral framework, right? I'm against unnecessary animal suffering, but we have different standards of necessity. So when you said, yes, we do. You said the standard for moral necessity is survival. I don't think the standard for moral necessity is survival.
Okay, so if it makes you a bunch of money, is that okay?
I don't think that either. I don't think
If
the
it's
moral purpose
convenient,
of
is
life
it
is
okay?
money.
If people can get an adrenaline rush, is it okay?
I don't think it's just about adrenaline or money.
Okay, so what is it? What is the justification for necessity?
Do you see how you're flipping the burden of proof?
I'm not. It's always been about you coming up here to explain your morals to me.
You have the positive claim.
That's what you should be vegan is about. I already demonstrated this, asking if you supported abuse or not. It's always been about looking at your
made the
moral
positive
framework.
claim.
So please tell me, what is to you a justified form of harm?
But do you see how you made the positive claim? Like I'm telling you, I don't agree with
Answer
you.
me. What to you is a justified form of harm?
I think harm is justified if the harm is consistent with living at qua rational being.
Can you extrapolate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think that human beings are a particular kind of creature and we have specific kind of requirements in order to survive. And that when you act in consonance with those requirements that are imposed on you by your nature, there are certain things which are those things would be good. And in some cases, the welfare of animals is conducive towards those ends, and in some cases, they're not. And in the cases in which they're not, of course, you should utilize the animal. And in the case where they are, you should respect the animal to whatever extent that means.
You're not really giving me specifics. Like, can you give me like examples of what's okay?
Yeah. So, for example, of what's okay. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, at a very primitive level, if you're unable, given your environment, you're not a herbologist or whatever, have not. If your source of survival or of relative convenience, given the trade-off, is eating animals, and that'd be morally good.
Okay, that would be under like a justified survival situation, like I said. Or do you have any other examples?
I qualified it. I mean, you could like search around for berries all day, right? Or you could live a better life and
I get that. I get that. There's people in survival situations that need to eat animals. Okay, do you have any other example?
No, it's important to understand. They could sustain themselves by eating berries. That's the point. I'm telling you, they could. Their life would just be, the quality of it would just be significantly worse.
Okay, do you have any other examples?
That's not a necessity for survival. The example I just gave you is not a necessity for survival.
Do you have any other examples? I'm trying to see what there is in animal ag currently that you actually support, because...
Yeah, I mean, so for example, I don't think most people, the value of like learning how to cook and be like this, herbologist and alchemist with the plants, I don't think that's really advantageous towards their life for them to dedicate themselves towards fostering that capability. And so I think that it's better for them to rely on a specialization of labor where they can acquire meat products.
Okay, you understand that we can also use like labor and food services to provide plant-based products too. Like people don't have to cook to eat plant-based. I'm not sure what that point was. So is there anything else? Is there anything else? Is there any? Stop. Is there? Stop.
I'm giving you examples.
Stop.
You want an example?
What other animal exploitation is What other exploitation is okay? Like, do you think it's okay to have like puppy mills and breed puppies into existence because people just wanted a soft dog?
A soft dog. I have no idea how puppy mills work, but I mean, I can give you another example. So, for example, if I'm going to an important meeting, I want to demonstrate my social status, and I buy a Gucci bag, I think that'd be morally good, even if the Gucci bag's made out of leather.
No, it's not justified, and you can make the Gucci bag out of other things.
You're asserting. Oh, are you asserting it's not justified?
You don't have to make it out of
Are you
animals.
asserting that it's unjustified? Because if you are making an assertion, you have to give an argument for that, right?
So what? Like, I'm still confused. Like the examples that you're using to like justify animal exploitation, like the scenarios, because I can list off so many unnecessary.
I told you, it's about self-interest.
exploitations you probably engage in.
I told you. It's about self-interest. It's about what is advantageous to you in accordance with the requirements to flourish as a human being.
That still sounds like pretty vague. Do you have specifics?
Yeah, I gave you 3 concretes.
People can justify a lot of horrible things under that context. Like, do you have specifics?
Yeah, I gave you 3 concretes. I already gave you 3 specific. Remember when you asked the guy to name some studies and you named 3? You asked me to name some specifics. I gave you 3. So that's where we're at. And you said it was unjustified, and then I said, oh, but that's a positive claim. You'd have to defend that. And then you like pretended as if I did not say that, and you just asked for some more specifics. So are you making a positive claim, or do you want me to give you more specifics?
Like, I guess I'm struggling a bit because like you're not really giving a good reason why you're not vegan.
I am. I'm saying the reason I'm not a vegan is because animals are most advantageous to my life in some contexts when they're utilized as means to an end.
But what justifies you seeing them as like a means to an end?
Because I told you they're most useful in that way.
Okay, a lot of humans may also be most useful in that way. Does that justify using them?
A lot of humans are not most useful in that way.
They can be. What are you talking
No.
about? We've done it in the past.
Do you think that was the best use of human beings?
I mean, for the people who exploited and like benefited
course
wealth and otherwise, yeah, it
Of
was
course
very
not.
advantageous for them.
If the colonizers had gone into the native space and they had asked them, hey, dude, let's actually cooperate and create an organized society instead of enslaving them, guess what? Society would have been hunky-dory, much better for everyone else. So no, it's not true that human beings are best used as slaves.
For
That's
the
not true.
oppressors, it was.
No, it's better for the oppressors to allow people to be free so that they can be more productive. Society is better when people are liberated. That's true. But animals are not such creatures. If you liberate animals, they don't do anything. They just consume. They don't produce things for you.
They keep the ecosystem in balance, though.
Yeah, and insofar as there are fucking bees, then that's awesome. We should preserve bees. But
Right.
yeah, sure. There's that's why I said it's situational.
So why not the other animals as well? They're
It's
necessary
because
part
of the
life
context is
cycle
different.
overall.
Dude, come on, dude. You just hop on the tracking train, man, because the context is different and they serve different purposes.
Why don't they serve as good of a purpose? They keep the closed
What?
loop going.
What horses do for you, bro?
They keep the ecosystem in balance.
What do you think that your life depends on the horses in the ecosystem, man?
There's probably some amount of horses
Name the
that
place
keep
that
it-
horses play in the ecosystem, bro. Explain to me how the horses in the ecosystem relate to
Wait,
your
I mean,
life.
the horses don't really belong here. Probably they probably came from like wasn't it like Asia or something? Where
The
like
ones
they
around,
were-
should we just like exterminate the ones around
Hey,
Earth?
so are you saying that? So you're saying that if a person does not contribute to society, we can enslave them? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, so then why is it okay to slaughter a horse if they don't contribute to society?
It's not simply about the fact that they are contributing, it's about the capacity for them
Great.
to contribute.
So, okay, so let's say this person had no capacity to contribute. Should it be
People
okay to
by
slaughter
nature
them
have
from
capacity,
burger?
dude.
No,
First time's try.
so can you stop with the philosophical garbage?
That's not garbage,
and,
bro. I can
and
reduce
answer
it
the
for you.
question, right?
I just answered the
So-
question.
So, can you name the trait?
Dude, you're breathing
that-
so heavily right now. I already told you, species typical causal power related to usefulness.
Great. So can you name the trait again?
I just told you. Species typical causal
Slower,
power
slower. We
with
can't hear you.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, third and final time. Species typical causal power with respect to usefulness.
Okay, great. So, what exactly? How do humans lack this? How do animals lack this?
Human beings don't. 'cause
How do animals lack this?
how do they lack the species typical causal power with respect to usefulness?
Yeah.
Okay. have a free range human and have a free range horse. Do you see the differences in their abilities?
Now, that's not what I fucking asked you. Answer
It is
the
actually a
fucking
demonstration
question.
of what they asked
Answer
you.
the
Yes.
question. How
do
are
they lack
how
it
do
by
how
nature?
exactly
By
do
nature.
shh, hold on.
I told you. Why are you shushing me,
Stop.
boy? I already told you the
Stop.
answer.
Stop.
Why are you
And
stopping
answer
me,
the
bro?
question. How do animals lack that trait?
By nature, they don't have the causal powers.
Can you name an example?
Yeah, I gave you the fucking horse and you shushed me, so lock in.
No,
Put
you
a
didn't-
horse in a... Yeah,
That
I,
didn't
I
answer
gave
the
you the horse and you
question. That
shushed me.
didn't
I
answer
did.
the question.
I'm
Try
telling you, lock
again.
in.
Try
Lock in, bro.
again.
What should you try again, boy? Look, put a horse in a free range thing. Do you want the answer to your question?
Stop it and listen.
Do you want the answer to your question?
Listen. You're gonna get
Do you want
you're
the answer?
stuck here. That's why you're flailing so much. Relax.
I'm obviously relaxed. You told me to shush, bro. I'm obviously...
Relax. Just name the trait.
I'm very obvious.
Just name the trait that horses lack that humans have.
Species typical causal power for usefulness.
Okay, give an
Deliberate.
example. Give an example of how horses lack
Horses
that.
in the fucking range. Are you?
Yeah,
what are you not
give an
getting, bro?
example. Shh, hold on and
Why are you
listen this
shushing me
time.
out?
Listen this time. We know you're stuck.
You're not even slightly.
We know you're stuck.
Are you done, bro?
So, name an example as to how horses lack this, but human doesn't.
Yeah, dude, I got you. So, referring back to the horse in the range example that you so desperately do not want me to explain to you, okay? Horses do not have the species typical causal power for usefulness when liberated. Why is that? Well, because horses, for one, do not have the conceptual faculty. So when you put a horse in a free range environment, the value that a horse can produce for you, okay, on principle, is different than the value that a human
Okay,
being
so
can
let's
bring for
say a
you.
human had that
Precisely
same.
because-
Let's
Stop.
say
You want me to
let's say
answer?
a human. Let's say a human had that same conceptual capacity. Would it be okay to slaughter and turn that human into a burger?
If a human was a horse, could you treat them like a horse?
Answer the question again.
That's your question. Right?
No, it's not. If a
It's not your
human
question.
had this, we know you're stuck here.
Why are
We
you-
know you're stuck here. Just
Do you want me to answer?
quiet with your philosophical bullshit
I'm not-
and
it's not
stop. Okay.
I'm chill.
If a human,
Why are you running away?
If a human
Why are you
lacked,
muted?
stop and listen. If a human lacked
Why are you
that
coke
same,
laughing, dude?
if that
Are
human
you
lacked
good?
that same
you-
conceptual capacity, would it be okay to slaughter them and turn them to a burger?
If a human being was not a human being, that's what you're asking.
You're not answering the question.
The question
If
is the question is the same thing as saying if human beings.
No, it is not.
Yes, it
no,
is.
no. Answer the question. If a human lacked a conceptual
It's the
capacity,
same.
right? Let's say this.
The same.
Let's say this human was
It's
mentally
the
the
same
same.
thing. Why are you shushing me?
You said
Are you good,
conceptual
bro?
capacity, right?
Like genuinely can't.
So let's say that
Genuinely
this.
can't engage. If do you want to have the? I mean, are you interested? I mean, like, are you good?
Just please.
We can have the conversation. You
please.
just got.
Calm down.
Are you good, bro? Nobody's convinced that, dude. Everybody knows. Are you good? Like genuinely, like what? Like this is. Okay, do you want to have it? Do you want to have?
Got 4 other people
wanna-
in the guest request.
I mean, if you want to stop.
Can you-
Okay, this is your
Can you
choice.
just relax. Can you just relax?
This is your choice, bro. You don't want to have.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
this is what we're gonna-
about how
this is what we're gonna have to do.
Just relax.
This is what we're gonna have to do, bro. You don't want to have the conversation.
Okay, so let's
I'm
say this.
honestly-
So let's say this
What are
human
you
was
doing?
mentally disabled, right? Let's say this human was mentally
Genuinely, what are you
disabled.
doing, bro?
They had no conceptual capacity. Would it be okay to turn that human into a burger?
Do you understand the implicit contradiction?
No. Can you point out the contradiction?
Yes, I will. Thank you for fucking allowing me to make the point I already made. The way we define species is with respect to their causal powers. If you stipulate a member of the species and then stipulate that the essential characteristic of the species is not present, it's a contradiction to identify the creature as that kind of thing.
Great. So then what you're saying is species.
Which is,
So
hold on.
Let's say there is
Let me
a
finish my
species.
thought. Let me
No,
finish my
divinity.
thoughts.
No,
Let me finish my thoughts.
No.
Which is
I
exactly why
get
your
what you're
question.
saying.
Last,
We
it's
get
the
what
last
you're
sentence.
saying.
Last sentence, bro. It's cool. Look, which is exactly why in your question, it is the same thing as saying if a human being was not a human being and was a horse, could you treat them as a horse and not a human being? Of course
Okay,
you
great. Okay, great. So you're saying it's a species dependent, right? Now, let's imagine a species of humans who had the same conceptual capacity as a horse, for example, right?
So it's
Would
not
it
a
be
human.
Why
you
would
good?
it not be? Why would it not be a human? It
Because
has the
human beings
same
are defined
causal-
by their causal powers. I just told you why.
When you say causal powers, what do you mean? What does that
you
mean?
know
What
what?
ex-
Now
what
you
do
don't know what a causal
What
power
are these
is.
Give an example of a causal power that humans lack that horses have.
Humans lack that horses have. Well, the way that I
Yeah.
contrast them is what human beings have and horses don't. That's the way I framed it.
Okay. Can you name one?
Yeah, the conceptual faculty.
Oh, so what if a human lacks that conceptual capacity?
Human beings don't lack the conceptual faculty. That's why they're human
What do you t-
beings.
Wait, so you're saying all human beings have?
Yes, that's what a human
No,
being
no,
is.
no. You didn't
Yeah.
let me finish.
That's what a
Stop.
human being.
Stop.
Why are you
Okay.
cope laughing, bro? Like, you're laughing
We
because
can imagine a
so
human.
uncomfortable. You can hear how uncomfortable.
First of all, horses
can
do
hear
have
how
conceptual capacity.
Are you joking?
We know that animals, horses
Are you
have.
joking?
Oh my God!
Are you joking?
Stop!
Dude, you want to
Relax.
I'm obviously
Let me
relaxed.
speak. Let me
You
speak.
keep interrupting me.
Okay.
You just
We
keep-
know
you-
that horses have
Dude, this is not-
conceptual capacity.
What are you doing?
Same with dogs. They can
Then you-
dream. They can think.
They-
They
oh, they-
have social. Yes, they do. Dogs can dream. They have conceptual
That doesn't mean they can
capacity. But they have what? So
you good,
by
bro?
conceptual capacity, you mean the ability to conceptualize. Well, yeah,
Yes,
dogs have
dogs
that
don't
ability.
conceptualize.
Dogs and horses
No,
and
they
cows
don't.
and
No,
pigs
they
and
don't.
chickens. Oh,
They
great.
don't.
So what's your source that shows they don't have that capacity?
Yeah, dude. This is really you really fucked up here, bro. So what animals have that human beings have a greater to extent of is that human beings can conceptualize, whereas animals like dogs, horses, etc., they can create what's called prototypicals. Now, do you know what that is, or do you want me to explain that to you?
Yeah, I know what it is.
You know what is a prototypical?
Like a prototype, right? An example of something.
What is a
that is
prototypical?
prototypical of at a category.
So
Now,
what is a
can- now, can-
prototypical? Why'd you mute me?
Because
Genuinely,
you
what are you
haven't
doing?
shown this with scientific evidence. There's no all the
What are you
scientific
doing?
evidence shows that dogs can.
They don't have
dream.
concepts.
can-
They have prototypical.
Oh, that
Okay,
cope
great.
laugh.
So
Oh,
so
that cope
do
laugh
ba-
divinity.
Why are you
divinity-
cope laughing? You think I'm cope laughing? This guy just. Or what
do
are we?
babies have conceptual capacity? Divinity?
Are we done, bro? Or are we done with it?
Divinity?
Have
Do
we lost the
babies
plot?
have
Are we
conceptual
good, bro?
capacity?
Are we done, bro?
Oh, do babies have conceptual capacity?
They're of the kind. Yeah, of course they do. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
wait a minute. What?
Yeah,
one
that's
makes
the way
sure
we
that-
define.
No, we
yes,
know
the
that
way we
human
define them
babies
is-
don't.
I'll
Please,
let you keep going.
please, guys, please. I promise this will be.
We
good.
know that babies
done?
don't have conceptual capacity
Are you
up to
joking?
until they're like 3 months old.
You know how we
Right, but-
identify species? Because we talk about.
No,
Right.
stop.
talk
No,
about-
this is
I'll
the
explain it
trait
to
you're
you.
talking about.
Please.
This is the trait that
It's
you're
because-
saying distinguishes
Are you
horses
done?
from humans. And
Can
I'm
I please-
showing
Are you
you
done?
that
Can I
there
please
are
have a
indeed
done?
humans who don't have conceptual
Am I
capacities.
good to speak?
There are humans who are mentally
Am I good to
disabled
speak?
who don't have conceptual capacities at
Am I
all.
good to speak?
And so in those cases,
Am I
are
good to
they
speak?
not of the human species because they don't have that trait?
No, I'll explain it to you. The
Okay,
reason
great.
why, I'll explain it to you. The reason why disabled people and babies are of the human species is precisely because the essential characteristic of a species, the defining characteristic, is understood by a mature paradigmatic example of a member of that species. And so then when we understand infants and newborns and disabled people, we understand them with relationship to the paradigmatic mature creature of the kind which they are part of. And so when we look at babies and disabled people, we understand that they're Homo sapiens and they're humans in light of the fact, one, that they have the teleonomic trajectory to develop these faculties, and two, babies and disabled people still have conceptual faculties. They just don't use them in the same way we use them to the greatest extent that we do.
How do you know
Which
that?
is
How do
exactly
you know
why.
that?
Yes,
How
I'll
do you know
explain.
that?
I'll give you induction.
No. Give us scientific source.
I'm explaining. I'm gonna.
Don't give me philosophical
induction.
mumbo jumbo.
You
Give
want
me a
induction?
scientific source. And by
Do
the
you
way,
want me-
we,
Still have a point
we
I'd
don't
like to get in,
define
please.
species by that. What you said
Yes,
is
we do.
nonsense.
That-
No, we define species by the ability to reproduce within their own population.
You're gen-
We don't define species by what you just
That is
stated,
exactly what
because
you-
by what you just stated,
Yes,
Neanderthals would be the same species as Homo sapiens.
that's not true either.
Okay, then what's the difference then between those species according to you?
Species typical causal powers. What's wrong with
Yeah,
you?
what's the difference if they have the same causal
They don't
powers?
have the same. They don't have
Yes,
the
they
same
do.
causal
They have the same
powers.
causal powers. Yes,
Is that
they
why
do.
they do? Really? You think that
Yes, they do.
Neanderthals
They have the
causal
same
powers
exact
as me?
causal powers.
Really? Look that up on
Yes.
Google search right now, bro.
Yes, they do.
Why are you co-laughing, bro? Are
Neanderthals
you good?
and Homo sapiens have the same causal capacity.
You think our IQs are relatively equal?
Neanderthals
please
probably
get
had
in
higher
that
IQs than us.
Are you joking?
Yes, they had bigger brains than us.
That doesn't mean. Oh my God, you're a joker. That does not.
Neanderthals had a bigger
Bigger brain,
and
they're-
probably were smarter
No,
than
why
us.
are you muting me?
Because you're just wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, bro. That's why you have.
Neanderthals were more intelligent than
Yeah, bro. That's why.
sapiens. Neanderthals
Mute the person who doesn't.
have more intelligence than us.
you don't want me speaking is because I don't know what I'm talking about. That was definitely why you decided to mute me, despite the fact you said something obviously fucking not true, which is that Neanderthals have higher IQs because they have bigger brains. You fucking moron, dude. Go on YouTube Shorts. What are you doing?
But I don't know if they had higher IQs.
No.
But,
So
like, I would
first of
love
all, we
to-
know that human brains are shrinking.
Oh my God,
and we
you're
are
joking.
gaining.
You're joking.
We know that they are shrinking.
Nice,
but
dude.
The more important part here is
Do you have anything to
that
add, bro? Are you done? Are you
the
done
more
posturing?
important part here
Dude,
is
you've
that
lost every
the
bit of
causal
confidence in your
powers
voice,
are the
bro.
same between
You're not-
Neanderthals and sapiens.
Bro, please, like, everybody's also begging me to have a turn too, and I haven't had a turn in like a long fucking time. I have one point, and it's this: Divinity, your definition of species is completely circular.
It's circular? How's that?
You're saying it's defined by the causal power, but then that causal power is defined based on an example of a mature, example, right? But of the species
What are
that
you
you've
not
already
getting?
defined by the it's circular.
It's inductive. I'm just using the term species for reference. Of course, like when we conceptualize and create the conceptual classification of species, we don't have in mind already this idea. Like we start with
So is your idea of species totally circular then?
no, I'm telling you it's not circular, and that the reason why I use the term mature example of the species is to establish for reference how we conceptualize the things. It's not as if we start out with the
power, which then redefines the species. So
Are
with
you not
that,
getting
you could
this?
easily just define
Are
like
you not
as
getting
people
this?
used to. People used to
Are you not
consider
getting this?
humans divided up into different species.
Are you not
People
getting
used to
this?
think that black people were a different species.
Are you not? The reason why black people are now considered not a member of a different species is precisely because we have the same causal powers. Like, what are you not getting?
Well, so my point here is that there's nothing keeping you from defining based on your causal power thing, disabled people and babies as a different species. There's nothing keeping you from doing that.
Of course
Especially
there is,
disabled
because
people because they don't have the trajectory
oh my
to
gosh, of
become
course,
undisabled. Let's say my babies have
they are.
You said
Do me explain
trajectory.
why. Do me explain why.
Hold on. You
I'll
said
explain why, dude.
trajectory,
It's fine.
but babies have the trajectory, but
I'll
disabled
just
people
explain. I'll
don't.
explain why.
They don't have the trajectory
I can
to become
explain why.
undisabled and get the same causal power that
Do you want me
the
to
other
explain
people
why?
of the species is.
Okay, do you want me to explain why to you? Why disabled people and babies are members of the species?
Let's go for particularly disabled people because I remember you talking about like
Yes,
trajectory and how that
disabled
matters, so-
people have a conceptual faculty. This is actually a really disastrous self-report on your end that you think so pessimistically about the abilities of disabled people, because you couldn't name 3 disabilities right now that would disqualify them from being examples of creatures with a rational faculty. For example, if you put a person with, let's say, Down syndrome, that's a disability. If you put a person with Down syndrome into the forest, okay, it's not as if they do not have the faculty of volition. They do not have the ability to conceptualize. They simply exercise it to a worse extent than non-disabled people, which is exactly why they're called disabled people and not a member of a different species. It's not as if they don't have reason. They just don't use reason to the complete full extent that we do.
Don't animals also have reason? So I don't understand.
No,
if,
it's
like, if
they have categorically different faculties.
Don't you know that like animals have measurements of
Categorically
intelligence that are measured
different-
against human babies and
Categorically different faculties. Do you want
How
me
is
to
it
explain that to you?
categorically different if they're able to be measured
Because
on like
they
the
do
age
not
of humans?
abstract. Because here's why: they don't integrate percepts through abstraction and measurement omission into single mental concretes. They have
They do
prototypicals.
that.
No, they don't. They have prototypicals. Do you have a single source that would indicate that that's the case?
Like so the conceptualization of
That's
what,
just a
like,
yes
objects?
or no, Indigo. Do you have a single source that supports that animals?
I need to be clear about what you're talking about first.
Okay, so be
honestly.
clear on this. Animals do not conceptualize. They have prototypicals. Do you have any evidence to contradict that?
So what differentiates prototypicals from like the
Dude,
full,
I'm not.
like,
Do you want me to educate you on
abstract
every
thing?
single bit of evolutionary psychology? Like, if you're not equipped for the conversation, it's cool. Just concede.
I'm not conceding because I'm trying to understand.
Okay,
like,
well,
what
try
you
to
think is
understand
so
on
unique
YouTube Shorts,
about
man. I mean, like, you were arrogant this whole
everything
fucking
I'm
time.
aware of that people think is like human unique is actually not like that. Animals do that, but just to a lesser extent, which would follow then
I
if
already
a
explained
human
it
could
to
do
you.
it to a
I
lesser
already told
extent,
you.
they'd be in the same category.
Look, you've
Like,
already
based on those measures alone.
literally conceded. the
Unless you're
fact that-
defining species
Okay,
completely
are you done?
circularly, basing the example of the best one and defining the rest of the species, even though you've already grouped together based on essentially the way that a species looks, I feel like is how it's going on in your mind.
Yeah, cool story, bro. You've in fact literally verbally conceded that you're ignorant on this topic, and now you're trying to explain to me what I said is
I
wrong
haven't.
from a position of ignorance. So look, here's where we're at. You don't know what I'm talking about, and that's cool. Hashtag appreciate your honesty, okay? Character development. Now go on Google Shorts, right? Go to Gemini and type in, do animals
Take your
conceptualize or do they
sources
form
from AI.
prototypicals?
That's pretty cringe, bro.
Yeah, nice retort, bro. Look, so but for your level of knowledge, right? Go on YouTube Shorts, type in what is a prototypical,
So
what is a
if
concept.
it's so easy, then you should be able to kind of explain to me the kind of like very easily inherent difference
It's like if
between
somebody asked me to
the
talk about the theoretics
capabilities,
of infinity and
the
mathematics, and then you ask me what
capabilities,
addition
So
is.
hold
Like, this is
on,
what's
hold
happening.
on.
the
Some animals
capabilities
do.
of the
Some animals
animals.
do. They're just not the same way as humans.
They form
Yeah, like I
prototypicals.
was
They
trying
don't
to explain, like
conceptualize.
if
Oh,
their
true.
intelligence could be measured by like how old a human would be at the same intelligence, then like literally that's like what are we differentiating here? If
I already
a
told
dog
you.
can be as smart as a 4-year-old child,
Categorically
then
different
like
processes. Yeah.
okay, like how?
I already told. I explained to you what a prototypical was, and I
There's a
explained
whole
to you what a
bunch of
concept
like
was.
vague sounding nonsense of like abstract yada yada whatever.
You think it's vague because you're ignorant. This is explaining why you don't understand what I'm saying,
Okay,
because you
so
have
we
no
should be
idea.
able to explain it if it's well
Okay, cool, dude.
important
Yeah,
thing
let
of
me give you a
understanding a
crash. Yeah,
topic.
it's cool. I'll give you a crash course on how abstraction works.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Important part of understanding a
Hey,
topic is being able
write
to
some.
explain it in
Hey,
with
get
terms.
a pen and paper, bro. Take some notes. Okay. So animals start with perception. Okay. From perception, there is automatic discrimination of entities inside of perception. Okay. Additionally, there is an automatic identification of the disparity of differences among the entities within the array of perception. And this gives rise to the phenomena of similarity. It's upon identifying similarity that creatures of consciousness that can abstract, like dogs and animals, right? We can identify and isolate, focus in our mind, certain parts of the similarities within the entities in perception. So, for example, the aspect of color, the aspect of shape, things like that. Now, what animals can do, non-human animals can do, is they can perform this kind of identification and isolation of particular similarities in perception. But what they cannot do is they cannot isolate this phenomena of similarity, omit the measurements of differences between the things that are similar, and then retain the similarity as its own single mental unit to recall for later. Animals can't do that, but human beings can, right? And that's exactly the difference between a prototypical and a concept, because a prototypical is an identification, right? It's an isolation of a similarity among perception, but what does not happen is a complete integration and retaining of it as a singular mental unit, which is precisely why animals do not have the conceptual faculty and human beings do. Now, does that
Like
explain
thickness,
to you
for
the
example?
difference between us and babies?
Humans are animals, though.
I said
But, like-
non-human animals. I qualified that, dude. Come on.
So like thinness, is that an example of what you're talking about? The concept of thinness?
I don't know specifically what order the concept of thinness is, but for example, like concepts of color are examples of this.
So you think that animals don't have a concept of color?
They don't have concepts of color. They have prototypes of color. Like, come on, dude.
Okay,
What?
like I'm not sure where the
So,
proof is.
so monkeys have been shown to perform mathematics. Pigeons,
Their quantity
crows,
can be prototyped
those are
too.
mathematics, right? So, now, Divinity, do you think that it's okay to slaughter dogs, for example?
It depends on the context.
They're just, an innocent dog walking around. Okay to slaughter it? Turn it into
I
a
don't think it's
burger?
good to do anything for no reason at all. So no.
Okay, what reason would it be okay to slaughter a dog?
Now do you see how this is irrelevant to the thing I just
No,
said?
it's completely irrelevant. See how you're trying to burden shift?
Did I ask
Okay,
you a
great.
question?
Okay, great. To answer the question, which
Well,
cases
then I
would it
asked
be
you a
okay to
question, but
slaughter
how
a
can I
dog?
burden shift when I
In
don't
which
ask you a
case would it be
question?
okay to slaughter a dog,
How
Divinity?
can I burden shift if I don't ask you a question? What's wrong with
Can
you?
you answer the question?
Did you hear me burden shift?
When would it be okay
Wait,
to
why did you
slaughter
just
a
so
dog?
dishonestly lie to everybody?
Why does
Did I burden
Divinity
shift?
sound like a seagull when
Why is
Divinity
he trying to
laughs?
run
I don't
so
know. Why does
hard? It's a
Divinity's...
simple question. It's a
Here we go
simple
with the
question.
muting,
It's
bro.
a simple question.
Here we go with the
Anime
muting.
villain, bro.
Can I
Okay.
just get a response to what I said?
This dog is randomly on the street,
Nice.
and you have the ability to slaughter it for a burger or to just go to the store and buy a plant-based option. Which option are you picking?
I would personally... Can I stop getting muted so I can answer this fucking
Yes, sir.
hypothetical?
Which one would you pick, sir?
Bro, I just keep getting muted, bro. Just chill out, right?
You can only be unmuted
Hey, nice
if
stutter,
you can do
bro.
the seagull laugh.
You want to try again?
Just answer
Oh, so now
it.
you're being ableist. Okay, so why don't you go play in traffic? if you're
No,
gonna be an
don't
ableist
kick
motherfucker.
him. Don't kick
No,
him.
no, hold on.
Don't kick him.
I wanted him to
Who
answer that.
cares
It's
if
a
he
very
is
important
ableist?
point.
Let him speak. So
I
that
was
he
just
can
trying to protect
answer
your
and
life
show his nonsense.
because against TikTok rules is being ableist and shit.
Who
so just
cares
trying to
about
protect your
that?
life.
We don't care about that. This is very important to talk about. We shouldn't be
I
kicking
care
him
about
for
protecting
that.
her life so her life doesn't get taken down.
Get him
Okay.
back up here.
TikTok won't take it down for that. It's inappropriate. I know
this-
it points out stutters, but it's
This is
I
where
need him
see
to
this
answer
is
that.
where this is why the entire see he was hooked on the prompt. Oh, you should be vegan. Well, what's the argument for that? Well, it's an internal critique. It's not really you don't care about the prompt, don't take it literally. That's just to get people up here. The point is to show you that internally there's a contradiction. If divinity said, "Oh, well, I think it's okay to slaughter them if they give you benefit." Well, that applies to humans too. It applies to all species, and there's no really difference between, morally speaking, between those two species that would make it okay to slaughter one and not the other. We can acknowledge the differences between species, but there's no morally relevant one.
Divinity, are you still here? You can come back up.
By the way, I also looked into the whole axiom thing, and like freedom can be an axiom, and you know, like that isn't a logical thing. So I don't really understand like why he thought like they had to be logical. I was trying to understand like what he meant by that, but it didn't check out when I looked into it.
Anyway, he probably left. It's just annoying because I wanted him to answer. Like, we're just getting finally to the crux. That's okay. But thank you guys for coming up. Thank you everyone for being here. I should be live by next Friday. I'm taking a week off, but I appreciate the help.